Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Another episode of Heavy Metallurgy. Hope you had a great week. Happy Friday. We are Heavy Metallurgy. It's good to see you. Joined once again, as always, by my amazing co-host, Alan. How have you been?
Doing all right. Busy week, kind of getting to the end of summer, so having to look at getting the school year started back up and all that, and trying to get last minute things done. But we're doing all right. Hello to everybody in the chat who's hopping on board. I'm typing out some hellos over there. And let me get back to folks in the chat for a minute while you introduce our two amazing returning guests for our annual tradition here.
Yeah, these two really don't need an introduction. You've seen them around these parts before. They're frequent contributors to the channel. But Melanie loves death metal. I haven't seen you in a hot minute. How have you been?
Good. Yeah, really good. Busy. Crazy couple of weeks for me. So yeah, I'm excited. I've been looking forward to this all week.
Yep, me too. And you're back kicking ass with videos again. You had a little bit of a break, some vacations and stuff, but
yeah.
What do you got going on? You got some contests and stuff, maybe? Oh, first of all, hey, go to her channel because I just printed her shirts yesterday.
Yeah, so that was a pre-order. So the 20 people that ordered from me, they'll be shipping soon.
They
look awesome.
Monday, I would think.
Yeah, I'm excited. They look good. So I have a bunch of contests that I've announced. I've got 4 already out there this week. 1 on Instagram, 1 on Facebook, and then 2 now on YouTube for YouTube subscribers. Tomorrow is the final one that I'm announcing, and it's a big one. I'm giving away a lot of stuff for tomorrow. So it's all stuff that I've been holding on to for months. It's stuff I've been collaborating with Ben from Iron Fortress Records. Paul from Corpse Bristles sent me a bunch of stuff to give away. I've printed a bunch of my merch to do giveaways, and then Mark Riddick was incredible, like he always is, and sent me a massive care package a couple months ago with tons of art prints, like 20 of them. So I've been giving away those too. So yeah, it's just kind of, I've been thinking about doing this for a while, like where I do a giveaway every day on all of my social media platforms. Kind of like a Christmas in July kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm excited. Tomorrow, I'm really excited tomorrow to announce the giveaway tomorrow. I think everybody's going to really enjoy that one. But yeah, so far it's been really fun. A lot of people are entering. I'm getting a lot of new followers that didn't know I existed, which is always fun. So now I'm going to have to explain the rules of my channel, because whenever those new followers come, you always have to be like, okay, yes, I've already talked about that here. Go look at this video. Like, yes. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, it's good. It's a good time. So if you don't follow me on any of my social media platforms, now is a good time to do it. It's open internationally, so I'll ship internationally. Hopefully you guys don't have any tariffs or anything that are impacting you.
Bindrune is heading towards $1,000 in payouts for tariffs.
Oh God,
it's awesome. It's great. America is winning. Here we go.
Yep. Yeah. So hopefully I don't run into any of those things, but obviously I can work out with anybody who wins something easier if needed. But yeah, super excited about. Yeah. Somebody said I was the death metal Oprah. You
get an album. You get an album.
That was a comment today. It made me laugh. I was like, all right, I'll take it.
Look under your seat, everybody, and find your Maggot Stomp demo.
So yeah, but yeah, I love doing this. It's fun, and it's always great because a lot of times people that win, they haven't heard a lot of the stuff that I've given away, and then they become new fans and they start following those bands. So that's one of the main reasons why I do it.
Right on. Well, it's good to see you. Thanks for coming back and joining us. It's always a pleasure. Yeah. And what's going on, Simon? How's it going? Explosive action in the house.
Yeah, doing all right. Busy, too much work, but we won't talk about that. Doing weekly videos though, that's been fun.
Yeah.
Been pretty much haven't missed a beat. This weekend, of course, is the one that I'll miss, but that's okay. Been quite varied with collection stuff as usual, but people seem to really enjoy the digging through the old OG tubs at the moment. So
there's some killer stuff in there. Great.
Yeah. I've been enjoying going through that and talking about some of there's some popular stuff, there's some obscure things in there, and really good conversations happening from those. So that's what's been going on. As for future videos, I basically wing it every week. Like, let's see, do I have enough new things to talk about? Yes, all right, we'll do something there. But any big grand thing, I haven't really come up with like a theme or anything like that. We'll see if anything crazy comes up to my mind anytime soon. But yeah, just winging it as usual, enjoying doing all the bids.
Right on. Well, again, good to see you as well. And we do this every year. Seems like this is the third year we've gathered to talk about the mid-year happenings in our wonderful metal community. And yeah, 2025. What do you guys think? Start with you, Simon, since you're up in the God damn it, I need a new thing. It's busted.
Yeah, no, it's yet another strong year. And like we were saying before, I always am surprised, when certain people say, "Oh, they don't make good music anymore. There's nothing good coming out." You're listening to the wrong things. I mean, okay, you don't have another Iron Maiden album this year. Who cares? Keep digging. There's so much good stuff. So yeah, that's I don't know, just the same quality of things as 2024. There's the old bands, well, not old, but bands that are up to their second or third album. There's a lot of good debut albums. Some particularly good debut albums that'll be making an appearance in my list. But yeah, it's just another quality year from death metal, black metal perspective. That's generally where I'm lying. So I got nothing to complain about. It's been a good year.
Right on. How about you, Mel?
Yeah, I thought the year kind of started a little bit slow, at least for me, because I wasn't following new releases right away. But now I am feeling like this list was really hard for me to make because I had so many things pulled, but I didn't realize that for some reason didn't realize they came out this year. Like, it just seemed crazy that I had all these things pulled already. So yeah, it's another good year. In fact, I honestly, this is probably the first year in several years I have not listened to a single black metal album. So It has been a while since I've done that, but like, I'm just so into the death metal space right now. It's just like black metal has completely, I've lost interest in it this year so far, but hopefully that changes as the year goes on. Like, usually by the end of the year, I have a couple of thrown into my list that I've listened to. I know that there's like one or two that are coming out that I am looking forward to by the end of the year. But yeah, for now, everybody's going to see all death metal from me tonight. So that's where it's still, yeah, I mean, that's where it's still slow for me right now is black metal. A lot of demos and EPs. I think my demos and EPs video might actually be bigger this year than my regular albums. I've been finding that a lot of the bands that I follow and really enjoy have been releasing demos and EPs this year. So yeah, another strong year, especially with underground death metal. I feel like it's just so much good stuff, and a lot of people are changing, and they're not just doing old school death metal like replicas anymore, and like they're finding their sound and progressing. So it's been fun to find new bands and stuff like that. So yeah, like Simon said, another strong year.
Right on. Alan.
A few things I've noticed about this year. Like Simon said, there hasn't been an album that I'm aware of from any like mega huge metal band. That's not a problem, but it is interesting that we're over at this point, we're into August and we haven't had, a Maiden or a Priest or a Megadeth, or a Cannibal Corpse, level band put out, which seems like a big chunk of a year to go through without at least one or maybe two of those kind of bands popping up. Second, it's still been a really good year. There's been a lot of excellent albums that have come out. It has been a hard list to put together, and an especially hard list to rank because the good albums have been spread out across some different genres. And it's always difficult to feel like, okay, do I like this death metal album more than this black metal album, more than that power metal album? How do you rank those? Not easy. The third thing I would point out is, for me, I think the year actually got off to a really good start. The first several months up through May, I felt like there was a pretty consistent stream of interesting releases that came out. But this summer has been really, really slow, it seems. And even like talking to folks at my local record stores, like no new releases have been coming out. People have been excited about. The store owners are like, I'm just not even placing orders right now because there's nothing I want to stock because there's nothing coming out. So it feels like it's been a really quiet summer for new releases. But there was a lot of good stuff, at least up to the end of the spring. And my last observation on 2025 heavy metal so far is that it's been a really noteworthy year for releases that kind of fall into either the traditional or epic metal categories. Lots of younger bands putting out very good albums in those styles. And a huge number of them have a female vocalist and in some cases, multiple female members. Just quickly reeling off some of them, but you've got, Savage Master, Mean Mistreater, Lady Beast,
Owlbear.
Owlbear. Yep. There's Black Sword Thunder Attack. I always have to go through that name kind of slowly, but yeah, there's been a lot of bands in that style, and there's a couple more on track to come out later in the year. So sometimes we notice that one particular style seems to have just a lot of stuff come out in a given year. So far this year, it's definitely been the epic and leaning into traditional heavy metal that's put out a lot of stuff here in the first part of the year. So those are kind of my general observations about the year so far. Marty, what do you think about heavy metal from 2025?
Your thoughts are duly noted here, Alan. I'm one of those guys, though. I tried every year. I see good in every year, and this year's no exception. There's a lot of good stuff going on. Yeah, it's been a little bit slower now. It doesn't mean the releases have stopped. I mean, we get a few promos here and there, and there's a bunch, but again, they're not bands that really are eliciting a bunch of excitement amongst the ranks. That's why you haven't really seen a lot of reviews lately. Little break, we'll start up again soon. But yeah, for me, I found that I've been a little tight on cash, and I used to take great pride in digging in and trying to hear as much stuff as I could. And I found that if I don't have the money to buy stuff and I find things I'm digging and I find things I love, I want to buy them. It's you got to feed the collector scum in you, of course. And so I've been kind of keeping it at arm's distance a bit, other than, a lot of the stuff you're going to see on the list is stuff that either myself or other folks here on the channel have reviewed, because I edit all the reviews. So I get to hear these albums. I'm picking through them and stuff. And there's everything I've heard that people have picked has been largely very good. So yeah, my buying dynamic has changed a bit, and so has my investing in searching out new stuff. And also at the beginning of the year, I was very much into a power metal mood. And now as we're getting into over the halfway mark, I'm starting to get into a raw black metal mood. So it's like the yin and the yang. It's things are changing. So my list kind of reflects a little of that, but yeah. Should we maybe start off with a round of honorable mentions or so? Would that be maybe?
I think we usually start with those. As Simon has pointed out, it's a little anticlimactic to save them till the end.
Right on.
So we can begin with those. And just a quick note, I kind of on the same page as you, Marty. I have not been buying a ton of new releases, so I know some folks get irritated when we don't have physical copies of everything to show, but probably half my list I'm going to have to show from Bandcamp, because I have not been out tracking down.
My phone is dead, so I can't even show pictures over my phone. My fucking
no worries.
Shame on you. Shame on you guys.
Yep. No.
And plus, the whole Ozzy thing, the Black Sabbath, the final concert, I've been just completely immersed in Black Sabbath. And then Ozzy passed, I've been immersed in Ozzy. And then leading up to that, I've been on a big Kiss. So I've been, Alan's talked about this before. Why keep buying and hoarding all this shit when I have thousands of albums that are getting ignored when new stuff comes in? So it's been kind of fun to sit and dust off and clean some old records and throw them on and just sit there and revel in the greatness of nostalgia. That's a very powerful factor, I know, in my listening enjoyment. Unfortunately, it's kind of a driving force these days. It happens the older you get, but yeah, so getting reconnected with the collection is also a lot of fun. But okay, ramble over. Simon, we'll start with you.
Sure.
Honorable mention time.
Honorable mentions. Yeah, there's a mixed bag, and the top 10. I should also add my asterisks. This is the most loose top 10 I've had in years. It's number 2 could become number 10. It could move out. There's a lot of room for change, I think, as the year moves on. And some of these other notables are definitely outside of the 10, but some I just need to spend more time with and see what happens with them. But I really like the Caustic Phlegm album, Purulent Apocalypse. The thing is just ridiculous. That was a lot of fun. Ancient Death, Ego Dissolution. That's in the thumbnail here. That's the one for me that I think could creep up, because I just need to spend a lot more time with it. It's a bit more complex than it sort of initially gives off. So yeah, enjoy that one. The Corpus Offal, I need to spend more time with as well. That was pretty immediate, but yeah, it's not made into the 10. Same with the Vacuous. I really like the new Vacuous, but we'll see if there's movement with that. The new Diabolizer, Murderous Revelations. They're a really killer band from Turkey. That's kind of like
I'm shocked
Yeah.
that's not in your top 10.
It's a very strong 11. Let's put it at that for the moment.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's got Engulfed members in it. It sounds very
Yeah.
much like Engulfed's last album, production-wise, ferocity-wise. That could very easily change when we get to the end of the year. Same with Morbific. I'm still digesting the Morbific. Bloom of the Abnormal Flesh. It's good.
That sounded pretty good. They still haven't topped their debut, though. Their debut was really kind of special. And for me, they've just been good, but not as good as the debut. I don't know.
I might agree with that. Yeah, but we'll see. It just needs a few more spins. I got things like the Diabolizer, the Corpus Offal, the Morbific all came in the same order. So it's just been, working through a lot of that stuff. And that wasn't very long ago. And some black metal stuff. There's a band called Osgraev, Reveries of the Arcane Eye, and another one called Kveldsteimer with the Cursed Oak. They're both bands from Alex Poole. Alex Poole did the Haxanu albums that I ranked number 1, whatever it was, a couple of years ago.
God, he is so busy.
He is a very busy man. Him and the old Svartidathus, they are churning them out. But yeah, that Kveldsteimer especially, I think, a few more spins of that, and we're going to start seeing that one climb my list because it's really good. So yeah, plenty more, but they're the main ones for me.
Right on. Mel.
Yeah, I agree. The new Morbific, I'm still digesting it more. I like it. I really enjoy it, but I still need to get more into it. There's this band named Filth, Time to Rot, that came out on Rotted Life, and then MSUO put out the vinyl version. This just came out not too long ago. Phenomenal album. I didn't put it in my top 10 because it's still fairly new, so it just feels weird to put an album on there that's so relatively new, but I've been enjoying this a lot, and this will probably make my top 10, I'm assuming, because of how much I've been listening to it. As well, as Simon said, the new Caustic Phlegm. I enjoy this, but again, I still need to spend a little bit more time with it. He also just released a demo that came out a couple of weeks ago that was like a Bandcamp exclusive, and it's pretty gnarly and filthy, so I would check that out. The new Pissgrave, I still really need more time with this. I obviously quite enjoy the last 2 albums that they put out. This one, I like it. It's very much Pissgrave, but I still need just a little bit more time with it, I think, but I still really enjoy it. Definitely hit when it first came out. When it first came out, I was like, oh yeah, this is great. And then I found that I haven't listened to it as much since it's come out. And then, not sure if anybody's familiar with Mutagenic Post on Gurgling Gore. And I don't remember who did. Is this a split release? It might have been a split release with Dry Cough Records, yeah. The Disease, yeah. The Disease Machine. This is a really, really good, solid, straightforward meat and potatoes death metal album. Really good riffs. This came out pretty early in the year, and I still quite enjoy this. So this will probably definitely be in my year-end list. I've been listening to this on and off and enjoying it. The new Haggis. Haggis is a band that I haven't always fully immersed myself into until this year.
I
This
checked
is
that promo out and it didn't do much for me.
it's
fun.
I
It's so
learned
much
what
fun.
Mince
Yep.
core was after listening to this band, and so I'm getting into them now and buying some of their stuff as I find it. But yeah, this is a really fun album. Love the artwork so much. Lucas did an awesome job with this artwork. So, and Tank Crimes is a great label, so it's great to see them putting more stuff out. Two more, and then I'm done. The new Caustic Wound. So I actually really do enjoy this album, but it just clicked with me within the last week or two. Like I was listening to it a lot when it came out, and then I kind of set it aside. So that's why I didn't crack the top 10, but I do really, really enjoy it. I loved their first album, but this one is fantastic. And then same with Ancient Death. I love this band. I have every single one of their releases. The split with Putridarium is awesome. It's a dedicated listen. You really have to take your time to listen to it. There's a lot going on in these songs. It's very, it's got awesome melodic riffs from in here, and it's very atmospheric and sounding. And but it's not like Blood Incantation or Tomb Mold. Whenever I say that, people assume that's what it is. No, it's definitely a lot more. It's not like that. It's still heavy. It's still crushing. It's still a very, very good album. But again, I still need to just spend a little bit more time with it to see how I feel with it. But yeah, so those are my honorable mentions for now.
All right. Good ones. Alan.
All right, let's see. I've got about 6 I put in the honorable mentions, and I'm kind of on the same page as Simon. Some of these could very easily move way up into my top 10 by the end of the year. Some of them may not even make the honorable mentions list by the end of the year. It's a very fluid list this year, especially until you get down to like the top 2 or 3. There will probably be a lot of movement. Let's see, ones I thought should be shouted out. Decrepices, Deific Mourning. Very cool. I like it. Very dark. They cover a Sisters of Mercy B-side and do a really neat interpretation of it. So I like it, but it just hasn't gotten a ton of spins. So it's in the honorable mentions. The new album from Sholden, which side project from Carl, who's in Majesties and Inexorum. That one's Insouciant Metaphysical Grandeur.
Yeah, it's good.
Really nice melodic death metal, but with a little bit of a raw edge to it. If you like Majesties or Inexorum, you kind of know what to expect. Very good album there. Let's see, Oneirophagus, which is something I reviewed really early in the year. I believe they were from Spain. Not a band I'm previously familiar with, but I really liked their take on the Death Doom formula. The album is called Revelations from the Void. Very good album. It got played a lot in the winter. Haven't gone back to it much here in the spring or summer, so that's why it ended up in the honorable mentions. Let's see. New album from Greece's Acherontes called Nikia. Not a band I have a lot of experience with. I've got 1 or 2 splits that feature them, and they're always kind of interesting. I find the new album interesting, but I haven't fully wrapped my head around it yet. So worth a shout out, though. Let's see. This one I was kind of surprised didn't end up in the top 10 right now. The new Pagan Altar album, Never Quite Dead. It's a very good album. It's the first one with Brendan Radigan doing the vocals. He had big shoes to fill after Terry's passing, but he does a great job, and it's a really, really good album. It's just one that it falls in that category where I played it a ton for about 2 weeks, and now I haven't played it in 2 months. So it's one that could very much get right back up into the top 10 if they break it back out and spin it some more. Very good album. The band really did deliver after losing, a key member with a very signature voice. And this last one, which gets the special title of Please Don't Smack Me, Simon, but I just haven't spent enough time with the new Jade album yet. So Mysteries of a Flowery Dream is one that will probably easily climb into the top 10 by the end of the year.
Yes, it will.
But I've heard it maybe twice. I haven't been able to track it down. The distros I checked were all wanting like $23.99 plus shipping, so they can go F themselves. And so I've listened to it a couple times online. Sounds very good. It's just I haven't had the time or the listens to actually put it in the top 10 at this point, but it definitely deserves a note. But I suspect we'll hear more about it later tonight from someone who is more versed in it than I.
They get deduction of points for the title of that album.
It is a tricky one. I cannot type it in correctly to save my life. So yeah, I definitely was reading that straight off the screen over here. But yeah, so there's 6 honorable mentions. Again, lots of different styles, bands from all over the place. A lot of good stuff this year. And some of those, again, could definitely be top 10 contenders. They may just need a little more time, a few more spins. But that's what I've got. Marty, what would you like to shout out in the honorable mentions category before we get down to the real business and start working through the official lists?
Right on. Well, the only one I have to show is this Owl Bear Feather and Claw.
Oh yeah, good album.
The EP was really good, and this seems to be a little bit more streamlined.
Oh, what is that owl doing?
After a couple dudes with
doing the
swords.
bear.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I gotta check this out.
Oh, it's really good. You got lady singer. She's got an excellent raspy voice. The music is aggressive. It's really good. It's really well recorded. And me and my kid were driving around listening to this the other day. He's like, Dad, I really like this. It's good, but all this is all kind of, there's not a lot of ups and downs. It's all just kind of straight ahead. So I'm like, yeah, you're kind of right. They kind of live in a pocket with this, but it's a good pocket. They're doing what they're doing is really doing really well. So it's one of those, if I spend a little bit more time, but the new Halloween entered my life right around the time I got this. So this quickly got shelved as I absorbed that for the review we did a week or so ago. So yeah, good album. Just needs a bit more time to process. And we
might hear more about that one later.
I figured the way you talk so fondly of it, it was going to be on your list. The rest of these are all stuff that people have reviewed for this channel that either I reviewed or other people reviewed, and I got snippets of and meant to circle back around to buy, but haven't done so yet. And one of them is Ossuary Abhorrent Worship. That album in particular, out of all of the murky, dismal death metal, man, they got it right on that one. That's just produced really, really well. They kind of have their own sound. They don't sound like, Timu Incantation Band 1000. So I was pretty impressed by that. I really liked them. Jimmy reviewed the Enfogler with the album Ekelbeth. It's a Lord of the Rings, Tolkien's Middle Earth inspired conceptual band. It's black metal, very symphonic, a lot of synth orchestration. Yeah, it sounds pretty synthetic with the drum machine and stuff, but it was really well done. It's not a summoning worship band. They're more black metal spirited, but very good. I enjoyed it. I reviewed earlier Gruesome Silent Echoes. I think I reviewed that one.
Yes, you did.
I enjoyed it. They, Matt and crew, they're really locked in. It's funny because I was going back and forth between, I had 2 windows. I had human going, and then I would stop and hit play on some of the silent echoes. And Matt's voice, holy shit, it's like a mirror image of Chuck's. He really has honed in and nailed it. And you hate to give praise to something so exact, but man, they do a really good job, and the songs are really good. They're really catchy, memorable. Out of the gruesome stuff I've heard, I own the debut. And for what it was, I liked it, but I think this is just better. I think it's just they're getting better at it. Plus, they're getting a little bit more into the advanced death years, so there's a little bit more interesting palette to choose from. Sacrifice Volume 6. I was kind of surprised how much I liked that record. And finding a copy of it without ridiculous pricing and shipping, it just I'm not gonna buy it. But yeah, they actually sound like Sacrifice from back in the day. Is it as good as Torment and Fire or as good as Forward Determination? Nah, but it is could have been their third best. It's really a good record. I haven't had time to sit through the whole thing of the whole album of The Arsonist by Sodom, but what I have heard sounded, I need to circle back around to it, and the album before it too. I previewed that a bit, and what I heard of that album is really, that doesn't matter for this year. But I spun a couple times the Fer-de-Lance Fires on the Mountainside album that Kellen and Alan did a collab review on, and man, that thing that's a band I need to spend a bit more time with. Go back and get their last album and get this one as well. Very impressive metal, kind of triumphant, tasteful, great sweeping solos, and so that would be one that probably enters my collection at the moment. So yeah, that's about it for my
Nice list.
So
Coming out late.
let's start with number 10. Melanie, you want to?
Really, really fun listen. And this came out relatively earlier in the year, and just I've listened to it a ton. I really like the band too. They're a good group of guys, and I've talked to them several times on Instagram. So I've been playing this a lot, and it's it's modern underground death metal. It's pretty much what you expect from that. But they have a lot of really good songs in here. There's a lot of vocal variances. It's not just the same like guttural, monotone vocals. He has a pitchy, like rangy scream, and then there's a lot of like technical, awesome, brutal riffs in here. And it's just not like a standard meat and potatoes death metal album, like I like to say. There's a lot of variance within the song, so it's a really, really fun listen. So if you're not familiar with this band, like I said, Gordon Brace. There you go. That's what they're called.
Check it out.
But yeah, I've known about them for a while, since they released some of their earlier stuff a couple of years ago. I think it was like back in 2022, something like that, where they first came out, and they kind of took a little bit of a hiatus. Well, they didn't have a hiatus. They just hadn't released anything in a while. So, but yeah, they have the official full length out now. So yeah, I definitely would check this out. Will definitely be a new band for everybody, I'm sure, or that's watching the stream, with probably the exception of a few people. But yeah, it's good stuff. I really, really enjoy this band, and I like that. I feel like they're gonna be a up and coming band. I wouldn't be surprised if they get signed to a little bit bigger of a metal label a couple of years down the road. So yeah, good stuff.
Iron Fortress is a label I need to check out. Apparently, they're one of those that I hear people talk about, and I've just never dug in. Need to click on that website and see what they got.
Iron Fortress, yeah, Ben's an awesome guy. He pumps out like a release every single week. It seems like. I don't know how he does it, but aside from his label, he's also a massive distro now. So it's been awesome because he gets all the European distros and like all the Western side of the world distros, like Nuclear Winter and MSUO, and like all of those that are hard to get because of the shipping.
Yeah.
And he makes it just so much easier now for me. Like I just wait because I know he's going to get it, and then I get the stuff once he does. So yeah, he's awesome. He's a good guy to work with. And he's been collabing a lot. He's collabed with MSUO so far this year. He's got a split release coming with Transcending Obscurity. He's got a split release with several of the death metal labels right now. So he's really taken off over the last couple of years.
Right on. Love the hustle. All right.
Yeah.
God damn it, Simon.
All right. Number 10. Start off with some black metal. The new War Moon Lord, Sacrosanct Demonopathy, whatever. Yeah, this is really, really good. It's the third full length from these guys. Finished 2-piece with and these are hilarious names, the Revenant Strigoi on drums and Lord Vragitor on everything else and vocals, which is just amazing. Both the guys, there we are in the very emperor-looking back cover. They're both in this other band called Argon Thorns, which is the closest thing to Baal Sagoth I've heard in years, so that's worth checking out. Very, very symphonic. And that, I think a lot of that is sort of crept more into this third album from War Moon. It's getting more symphonic. It's like a love letter to everything second wave here, not just Norway. The second track, particularly on here, Invoking the Retribution Eidolon, great title, is got it goes everywhere from this opening riff and drum pattern that sounds like it came from Abigor Nachthimen, goes into this Iron Maiden gallop, some sort of Cradle of Filth banshee screams, a bunch of In the Night Side Eclipse keyboards, some Sumberlane style riffs. It's just all of that good stuff. I don't think they've softened their sound since the first album so much, but it's definitely more lush and well-rounded kind of black metal. Nice gatefold here too, all very gold and pretty. So is it unique? No, it's just really well composed and put together. That being said, it's at number 10. It's the kind of thing that could shovel out, and some of those others like the Kveldsteimer could creep in. We'll see. But for the moment, yeah, really good one. War Moon Lord with Sacrosanct Demonopathy.
Right on. All right, Melanie. Oh, you already went. Never mind.
I already went.
Alan.
All right, let's see. Number 10 for me is a sophomore release from Canada's Tribunal, which is called Impenitence and Ruin. So this is a doom metal project, kind of centers around two artists who were the focal points on the debut. They kind of use a little bit of the Beauty and the Beast type vocal approach, where the guy is singing the gruffer death metal style, and the female singing in not an overly pretty style, but more of a normal, clean singing voice. The debut album was pretty good. Got a lot of people's attention who like doom or death doom. I think Impenitence and Ruin is actually better. I think this is a step forward for the band. One thing is they've recruited some more full-time members. So right away the band has kind of a fuller sound on this album. You notice it right away. This album sounds heavier overall. It's a bit more steeped in just traditional classic Candlemass style doom, which they're doing quite well. They still have the back and forth vocals between the two main members. Both of them sound even better on this album. Some of that may just be the production's a little stronger, but I think they both just feel more confident in their deliveries on this album. So especially the female singer, she's really, really good on this one. She was fine on the first album, but you can just tell she's stepped up her game, for lack of another colloquialism. She's got a really, really good delivery on this album. So yeah, Tribunal, on the debut album, again, it was one I liked. I wasn't nuts about it, but I thought it was a good album. It was good enough to get me to check out the sophomore album, and I'm glad it was, because yeah, Impenitence and Ruin is a very strong doom entry for the year. It's the kind of album that probably won't climb a lot higher in my top 10 list, but yeah, for now, it made a good enough impression, and has been revisited a few times, and that gets it here in the number 10 spot. So yep, new Tribunal, going kind of from strength to strength. Always good to see an album band that showed promise on the debut improve on the second album, and that's exactly what they did. So that's my number 10. Marty, what are you going to start the list off with here?
All right. Well, this album right here, the latest from Black Magnet, Mega Mantra. I bought the record, hasn't arrived yet, but I think it just dropped last week or this week. I don't know. But this is an industrial metal band. Their last album was more industrial than it was metal, but this album, we got a promo for it. Spun it a few times, enjoyed it, and here the last couple days I've been hammering it a little more seriously, and it's just a very crushingly heavy record. I guess if you like Author Punisher, stuff like that, where he kind of makes his own instruments and makes it sound like a weird nightmarish metal. These guys I think are a little bit more traditional with their metal side, but the industrial side is very authentic sounding, and the combination is very engaging. Makes a lot of sense, and yeah, they were on $20 spin for the last two albums, which I always found it to be a very odd choice for $20 spin.
Yeah,
but I applaud Dave for trying something different. Trying to break out, try something different, and this band was really good. I really enjoy it. So yeah, if you're into the industrialized metal stuff, give Black Magnet a try. They are pretty interesting what they got going on for sure. So yeah, that's my number 10.
good deal. Marty, before we go to round 9, I do want to take a moment here. We've had a couple of Metallurgy birthdays lately, it turns out. So happy belated birthdays to Tim and Wade.
Oh, right on.
Folks have been pointing it out in the chat. Tim and Wade have been members of the Metallurgy community for a very long time. It's always great having them on board, getting a chance to chat with them on Wednesday nights and Friday nights and such. So guys, hope you both had a really good birthday, and just wanted to take a moment and shout it out officially on camera. Cheers to both of you, and thank you so much for participating and being part of the community over the years.
They grow so fast, Alan.
They're not little headbangers anymore. They're little women.
Cheers, you guys. Yeah, happy birthday. Awesome. All right. Circling back around to Mel, number 9.
All right. I'll be surprised if I don't see this from Simon. Mephitic corpse.
Oops, let me pull you up.
Sickness attracts sickness. Head Split and Extremely Rotten Productions. If you're not familiar with Mephitic corpse, they are what you can assume to be a very disgusting sounding death grind band. And the imagery, goes along with it. The artwork is pretty much just essentially what you can expect for this. But yeah, just they came out with a demo a couple years ago that was almost like a cult, like classic immediately, sold out super fast. People were just so obsessed with this band. It's filthy disgusting. It's just disgusting. Like that, like that's how you feel after you listening to this. You need a shower. You need to figure out maybe like what the hell did I just go through while listening to this. But yeah, it's so foul. That's right. Yeah, there you go. It's foul. And of course it fits perfectly on Head Split Records. It fits perfectly with Extremely Rotten Productions. I've been getting myself so deep into like the grind adjacent bands this year. And this, as soon as this released back in February, this was one of the first releases that like really like nailed me. Like, yes, finally a good release came out this year. And I've been obsessed with it ever since. It's a fun listen. If you're into this style of death metal with this disgusting, filthy, grind sounding immersed into it, you'll enjoy it. It's a fun listen, and I quite enjoy this style of music a lot right now, and I've been buying a lot of it too. So yeah, and I highly recommend you check out the demo that came out a couple of years too. That was essentially what got me hooked on them. But yeah, the Mephitic corpse. Not for the faint of heart of people who are not into this, though. I already know like half of the people watching this stream are going to be like, no, that's not for me. This is not no owl bear. I'll tell you that.
It is not.
This is
Logan
literally what. This is literally like what comes out of owl bear's ass, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah,
This is like what happens if an owl bear eats another owl bear, and then no, we've done that bit before.
Yeah, but yeah. So definitely, yeah. I remember Simon, you messaged me like, I can't stop listening to this, and I was like, I know, it's so good, it's so good.
Right on. Owl Bear's droppings. I'm sold. All right, Simon.
Yeah, definitely won't be the last time we hear about that one. So that's for sure. Number 9, it's the Piss Grave, Malignant, the Worthlessness. I mean, you gotta love a band that's just called Piss Grave. That's outstanding. But if you don't know them, very, very ferocious, chaotic, evil death metal.
Noisy, very noisy.
Very noisy. Yeah.
Equal parts like Revenge, but then like Infesta. It's a great combination of something like that with the really bonkers kitchen sink shit from Portal. They're just all over the place. It's crazy stuff. Frequently sounding sort of bestial, Black Death, that kind of stuff. It's got the speed. It's razor sharp, lightning fast riffs. The standout I think everyone picks with these guys is the vocals. I don't know what they're doing. It's processed 65 times. I don't know what's going on, but they're amazing. Kind of sounds like Donald Duck as a 50-day smoker shrieking in a bar if somebody spills his beer. That's the vocalist in Piss Grave. It's completely ridiculous. But there's still a surprising amount of really chunky groove in this particular album from the band. More so than the last one, Posthumous Humiliation. God, they're tough things to say. I think this one's just a little bit more variety, which is hilarious for a band called Piss Grave to say there's more variety and dynamicism in this sound, but there actually is. It still is belted out in half an hour, and it's still just a blitzkrieg listen, but you know, no matter which way you look at it. But yeah, it's really, really good fun. And there's the guys looking very tough, incredibly metal. Look at that. Look at the guy there. Fucking amazing. Yeah. So if you want it loud, you want it fast and done with 30 minutes and a vocalist that sounds unhinged, check out Piss Grave, Malignant Worthlessness. It's good stuff.
All right. Alan.
All right, so on to number 9. This is one that Logan reviewed for the Heavy Metallurgy channel a while back. I saw the promos. It's like, maybe when I have time, I'll come back to that. But then I listened to Logan's review and heard the clips on it. Just like, maybe now's the time to go back to that. We were talking about ossuaries, abhorrent worship. Sometimes, we use the word, filthy to describe different styles and different sounds and stuff. This is an album to me that sounds absolutely filthy. You've got these weird blackened female vocals over this really kind of sludgy, thick death metal. And it works amazingly well. Was really blown away when I checked it out. Just like, oh, that's really intense in a different kind of way. It's not just Celtic frost worship, and it's not just trying to be cavernous or anything. It's got a really neat blend of elements, giving them their own sound. So, yeah, I was really impressed with the album. It's at number 9 right now because it's one that I'm going to have to see how much I play moving forward. It might become one of those albums that's
Hot for a week and then it sits.
Yeah, it might be that's going to be great, but only when I'm in the mood for that very specific flavor. Or it may become one of those things where just like every now and then I really do want to replay it. So yeah, another album that it could be top 5 at the end of the year, or I may have forgotten about it at the end of the year. But here in the middle of the year, it's a very cool album. And yeah, kudos to the band for sort of coming up with their own sound. So many things come out anymore that just kind of copy and paste. It's well done, but it just sounds like so many other things that have come before it. Ossuaries kind of seems like they're developing their own sound, and that does get bonus points in my book. So cool album, and props to Logan for reviewing it, because if he hadn't, and I hadn't watched that review, I might have missed this one. Like I said, it caught my eye, but whether I circled back to it or not, can't say. So thank you, Logan, for the good review on Ossuaries' Abhorrent Worship.
All right. Well, for my number 9, we are going to Gothenburg, Sweden, but not the type of music you would expect from Gothenburg, Sweden. This time we've got Sacred's Fire and Ice. Fire to Ice, sorry. This is their debut full length. They put out 2 singles leading up to this. Bands don't put out demos much anymore. It seems like they go right to the full length without a demo. But anyway, you know what? It's funny in the Discord server. Go check it out, folks. We have a cool Discord server if you enjoy this community. And they were talking about how it's just such traditional power metal, such traditional European power metal. I put this on, and it took me a minute to put my finger on it, but I hear Iron Flame. Oh. This sounds a lot to me like Iron Flame, which is in its own way power metal as well, but it's more of the American variety. You know what I mean? It's just got a little bit of rock infused in it. Very, very good singer. There was a cover on here, wasn't there? Anyway, I really enjoyed this one though. It was fun. I picked it up from Stormspell. It's on Stormspell. Go check out that label if you're into maybe a bit more obscure, heavy and power metal stuff. He's got a very large distro and label that he puts out some off the beaten track albums, I would say. But yeah, Stormspell 5-piece from Sweden. Very well produced. They've got a very good singer. Yeah, it's power metal-ish, but it's more of the hard rock infused power metal, I guess. So yeah, if you like bands like Iron Flame, check out Sacred. I think you will approve. Number 9.
I like Jeff's comment about that one. Yeah. Yes. Sorry, the cover art threw you off, Jeff, but no, it is not actually a gore grind album.
No, far from it. Okay, Melanie.
So this one actually, not gonna lie, kind of surprised me when I first heard it. I was shocked at how much I loved this album. The new Drawn and Quartered album of Lord of Two Horns.
They've always been a good band.
They have.
Consistent.
And
Yeah.
they've been around for a very long time, and I will admit some of their first few albums I was not a huge fan of.
They're a little
Their last
dry,
album,
but yeah.
their last album I enjoyed, but this one, like, for a band that's been around this long, to write such a good album right now, like, it is pummeling. It has awesome guitar leads, just super, just breaks your head. It's just so, like, such good death metal, like, so well written, so at times just like really get into it, and like it's a really fun listen. Like, I don't know, just I've never really fully followed this band as closely as a lot of my friends and stuff, and like I've never been like super into them. I've checked out the last couple releases that were on Nameless Graves, but this one, when I first heard it, I was immediately hooked on it. I couldn't believe, just like, and I've seen people like saying, like, a band that's been around for this long, it's crazy how they're still writing this great music. And I mean, we've shown that that's possible, obviously, but I feel like they're just so underrated right now. And I haven't seen, so like, I've seen a lot of people talking about it, but I just feel like this is one that should not be slept on at all. But yeah, again, I really enjoy it. Great guitar riffs, pummeling, really just a interesting listen. You don't get bored. Every single song stands out. Just so, there's at times it's so brutal and just so good. So I highly recommend checking this out. It's on Nuclear Winter, which is a label out of Greece. So you gotta, the shipping actually is not terrible. Obviously I got it directly from them, but there are US labels that will have this in. Like, I know NWN, Hell's Headbangers, Iron Fortress, like all of those labels. There's a vinyl and a CD copy too. So, but yeah, Drawn and Quartered. Just again, I just feel like they're so underrated, and like I need to go back and listen to a lot of their other albums that I've never heard. But yeah, very, very good, amazing riffs, crushing. I would definitely check this out.
Yeah, they're a great band. I'm really looking forward to that one. Local copy should come soon. But
yeah, we got the
I don't know
promo for it, and I listened to
I've
it.
been intentionally ignoring it because the CD, there's a distro here that gets in Nuclear Winter, and I'll just get the CD. But I don't know how familiar you are with all their old stuff, but Hail Infernal Darkness is kind of the benchmark for their albums, so that's the one I'd be recommending.
Okay, yeah, I only know like the first 3 albums, and then the one that they released a couple of years ago. So yeah, I have a lot more that I need to get into.
Yeah, good band.
All right, Simon. Number
And we
8.
are belting through this.
It might be a short episode. Well, everybody will have time for go to bed early tonight.
Lunchtime. I'm eating a sandwich over here. This is number 8 with Rothadas, and I'm not going to attempt to say this title whatsoever. They are a Hungarian death doom band. The title is in Hungarian, so are the lyrics, I think. Google translated this to Thorn Garden, the eternal sense of temptation, the ghostly harangue, which is just a sentence. Apparently a harangue is a tirade or a rant. I'm not going to rant about this, but it is somebody definitely ranting about ghosts in this album, for sure. Yeah, big, crushing death doom band. Impressive follow-up to the 2021 album. I think this is far superior. That album was always really good. I haven't returned to it much. This thing is hitting me so much harder than the first one. They're just the band's just improved. This is sort of like Crips from Finland. They're in that sort of space, or Fossilization from Brazil, somewhere in between those two. Gloomy, very punishingly heavy, but not so slow that it's going to put you to sleep. It is, yeah, it's that kind of death doom, around the gravestones and all the long hair. It's really, really good. The riffs are anything but happy. It is very gloomy, like I said, but they're dense with a capital D. The production's perfect on this. It does speed up. When they get into like faster tremolo, it has that eerie Cemetery Evil Shade of Grey, that kind, that weird sound that guitar has on that album. That'll happen sometimes on here, which was really, really pleasing. So yeah, and the final track on here is this 10-minute epic that they add some clean singing into it, and it's a suitable ending to such a crushing and pretty epic sounding album. So yeah, Rothadas. I am not going to attempt the title, but just go look it up. I'll put the name in the chat, and people can go and search it. But yeah, great great stuff from them. Much better over the first album.
Right on. Alan.
All right. Number 8 for me is a band called Incinerated. This is the Indonesian Incinerated, not the Australian Incinerated.
Okay.
Album. This is, I think, their second album. It's called Epitome of Transgression. It's on Black Seed Productions. Was not familiar with this band, but it was a promo that showed up, and just the name caught my attention more than the cover, because not a great piece of cover art here, I'll just say.
No, it's not.
Yeah, didn't. If I'd seen it, I would have flipped right past it. But I read the title and it's like, okay, sure. And band called Incinerated from Indonesia. Let's give it one spin. We'll give it one chance. And it made a really good impression. It's a pretty mature style of death metal. Not going for anything especially over the top, heavy or brutal or anything. Much more mature kind of songwriting take on it. Takes a few listens to fully wrap your head around. And it's interesting because it's kind of a change in style. I went back and checked the band's earlier stuff, and while good, it was a much more straightforward, brutal, old school sounding death metal type of product before this. So kind of interesting that they've really changed direction on this album. And I really like what they are doing here. It sounds very well done for their first take at something in this particular vein. Yeah, it's just like, a really, cheap and easy comparison. It's kind of like, hearing what Death started out as, and then hearing what Death suddenly was, jumping to on like, Humans. Like, whoa, that band's doing something very different now, but it's very cool and they're very good at it. So, okay, let's see where this goes. Yeah, this album, it's got kind of a weird, structure to it. It's not a very long album at 35 minutes, but you've got, one song at 12 minutes, one song at 9 minutes, then a 3-minute song and a 9-minute song. So, it's not a lot of tracks, but they're really well put together, very well thought out, good musicianship throughout the record. I'm really pleasantly surprised by what I heard on this one. It's interesting to hear, what this band is doing with their death metal evolution. Now, for folks who were a fan of this, band before and like the earlier stuff, this may be a bit of a stretch. If you're not into this style of death metal, they may feel like the band jumped the shark on you a little bit, because it does seem to be quite different from what they were doing before. But for fans who like, this style, want to see a band try something, a bit more, unique and adventurous, this may be the point to go check them out. This just came out on June 30th, so the last possible minute to make this particular list. No idea where it will rank by the end of the year. It's another one that may continue to grow on me. It's another one that may just, get overtaken by other really good albums that come out over the next 4 or 5 months. But yeah, Incinerated from Indonesia. And again, it's not just me. The cover is just kind of dark blue on dark black. But there we go. Slid a little better there. Yeah, Epitome of Transgressions. A surprisingly interesting, varied, and mature take on a death metal formula. Check them out.
All right. Well, this one came out in... I had it loaded up here. Came out... I don't remember the date. But it came out earlier in the year. My kid bought it. I have the debut from Sweden's Majestica. My kid bought this one, and I was quite surprised. This is Tommy Johansson, who was the guitar player in Sabaton. He left Sabaton to focus on his YouTube channel and this band, and it doesn't sound like Sabaton at all. In fact, it's very European power metal worship. There's a little bit of Halloween thrown in here. Very energetic, sometimes speed metal-esque power metal. A lot of vocal harmonies here, some amazing guitar work. So it's very much a European power metal album. It's Power Train, really. It's just so freaking cheesy, but my kid bought it. We've spun it a lot when he got it, and it's actually quite good. If you're into Halloween, stuff like that, this is right in line with that. The production is top notch. It's on, God damn it, it's on Nuclear Blast, and again, high attention to vocal melody lines and shredding guitar work. Very good album. You'll be surprised. I was surprised. I like the debut, but this one might be a bit better. So yeah, Powertrain. I'll break my kid's case. He'll hang me. There we go. Very particular about that. Dad, this case has a crack. Can I have one of yours? No, get your own. All right, Melanie.
All right.
We're on number
7.
7. All right. So another one that came out pretty early into the year that I
Yeah,
immediately got hooked on. Putrid, because of course. Yeah, of course, I'm showing a band named Putrid. Band out of Romania. This is their second full-length album. I was a huge fan of their first album. Like, this is, I like to call slow, groovy death metal. That old school death metal sound for sure. Not as foul sounding considering their band name is Putrid for this album. There's definitely a foul sense on their first album. This one is a little bit more of a groovier sound. Like, just kind of got a nice nice solid tone to it. Very like murky, almost a fetid style of death metal. Like they definitely remind me a lot of that band Fetid. It reminds you a little bit of Cyanide too from Chicago. Like it's got kind of that slower death metal style. I'm not going to try and pronounce this album name. I don't even know how to say that. Megalith L something. I don't know. But yeah, this came out on Tenebrous Apparitions for the vinyl, and then of course Iron Fortress put out the cassette tape, so that's how and then after I listened to it several times, I finally just snagged the record because I like it so much. It's a fun listen. It's pretty straightforward. It's got more of that like murkier sound, heavy crushing death metal in a more of a slower sense, not as like brutal or fast, none of that style of death metal. But yeah, like I said, very much in the vein of Fetid. If you're a fan of that band, you'll enjoy this. And I've been hooked on this ever since it came out. So again, if you're in that style of death metal, you really enjoy this. The album artwork took me kind of maybe a little bit confused because it looked a little bit power metal-ish. But when you go deep into the album artwork, you see the death metal parts there. But yeah, definitely not as foul looking as their first album cover. But yeah, Putrid. So of course I show a band called Putrid. So yeah, if you're not familiar, check them out. I think they're great. Excited for what else they have. They have a couple of other like demos and splits out too. So yeah, good stuff.
Oh. So we've had one power metal album that looked like a gore grind album. Now we've got a filthy death metal album that looks like a power metal album. Wow, bands are really messing with us on the cover art this go around.
Messing with our minds here.
I want to make sure Jeff, is able to make informed, smart purchases. That if he just catches something out of the corner of his eye watching this, that it doesn't throw him for a loop.
All right, Simon.
All right. Yeah, the bestial stuff's got me by the balls this year. The new Titan Blood from the Visceral Abyss.
Okay. I'm interested to hear what you have to say about this because I haven't heard it.
Yeah, this is a ripper. This is pushing close for me to being their best. It's going to take, it's going head to head with Seven Chalices at this point. I like this better than Death and the EPs that have been around it. The formula hasn't obviously changed that much, but they've definitely tweaked it. There's more tom rolls in this. There's more changes of pace. It's still pure destruction, but and the title track on this thing is borderline unhinged as well. But for me, this is a bit like last year's Witch Vomit album or the last Imprecation, that there's this sense of development and a bit more room to breathe, and makes it stand out a bit more. So that's why I've been really enjoying this one. It's a lot more distinct. The songs are a bit more unique to each other. It's not just 35 minutes of completely over the topness. It's you can really sort of hang your hat on the majority of the tracks here as identifiable, which is good for this style. Production's punchier. You can really hear those wailing dive bombs, and I'm all about those. But it's a drums-focused album, which is not surprising for a band like this. There's riffs, of course, but it's not the focus. This is drums and vocals. Yeah, I think fans of the previous stuff will still enjoy this. But what might be surprising is I think people that are not normally a fan of the band might find this is a good place to start. It's just a bit more dynamic, beautiful layout and everything here.
Very cool.
Very built.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought I'd pull that out. They've gone through a lot of effort in this one, in the presentation. So, yeah, gets a big thumbs up from me. So, yeah, if you like them, you'll probably like it just as much as usual. If you never liked them, try them on this one because it's a bit different. So, yeah, Titan Blood from the Visceral Abyss.
All right, cool.
All right. Alan. Hey, Frank, what's going on?
Yep. Cheers, Frank. Let's see. This one I have ordered, but the distro, I think it got back ordered or something. It's finally like out for delivery soon. So I'm almost to the point where I can show physical product. But for this round, I am talking about Amalekim and their album Shir Hashirim. Yeah, I reviewed this one a few months ago for Metallurgy. It's an international band with members in Poland and Italy. This is their third album. Adjectives you're going to hear around Amalekim are things like, hermitic, occult-ridden, mysterious. They're playing that style of black metal. They're, all in robes and masks, kind of doing the Migwa thing. That's taking that to the next level that lots of bands have done in recent years. But yeah, this is a really interesting album. It's not trying to be extremely fast or extremely lo-fi or anything like that. It's, got a good solid sound to it. It's varied song structures. We'll try different elements here and there. For example, the first few moments, the first vocal lines you hear are actually, fairly processed and have kind of an industrial clanking sound in the background.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, wait a second, what did I get into here? It's really the only time they use that effect on the album. So, this isn't a band that, just picked up one or two gimmicks and then stick with them song after song after song. They're always, kind of trying a few different little tweaks. They do the industrial processing thing once. Next song, they're going to try something different. Third song, they're going to throw something a little different at you. So yeah, this was one I had to play it a lot to really kind of start to grasp it. It's not the kind of thing you just throw on and immediately get. It reminds me a fair amount of the new Acherontis album that I mentioned among my honorable mentions. That same kind of style of, again, very mid-paced, but pretty rich sounding, occulty black metal that's become more and more popular. They're not the only bands doing it anymore, but I think Amalekim's doing it quite well on this album. I'm not real familiar with the band's back catalog. My understanding is that after the first album, they had maybe some lineup changes, kind of retooled their sound a bit. So the second album got kind of a more positive response, and moving into the third album, it sounds like they've built on that foundation from album number 2 and are, again, kind of continuing an upward trajectory, which is something I like to see younger bands do. So yeah, if anything I've said sounds a little bit interesting and you're just not familiar with the band, check them out. The album is finally getting shipped from some distributors and stuff. So yeah, Amalekim with Shir Hashirim. A lot of the lyrical themes, by the way, are taken from the Old Testament of the Jewish Bible. And they are into doing a lot of the whole inversion kind of thing, similar to what, Deathspell Omega was about during their classic run. So once again, if there are words in there that sound interesting but don't make sense yet, don't feel bad. It's a project that takes a little while to get, but go check them out.
Sounds good.
Yeah, they're very haunting in kind of the same realm as Deathspell. I don't know if they're as jazzy and crazy as that, but they're definitely in that occult, dark, murky. Very cool, though.
And that is a good point, Marty. Yeah, if for anybody who tried Deathspell Omega and just found it a little too over the top, this is a band that wants to be in that same aesthetic, but it really, it's varied enough to be interesting, but they reel it in compared to, you know, the death spell throwing everything at you all at once. So yeah, maybe a more digestible version of that style. Not a copycat though whatsoever.
All right. Yeah, good album. Good pick. Number 5, a little self-serving here. We put this out. It's our latest release, actually. On Binary Recordings, this is Numinous by Returning. This is their second album. This album is, these guys are from Pacific Northwest, very Cascadian black metal in sound and execution and scope. They are very much into embracing and praising the nature that they have grown up in, and that whole realm, that whole area is very much connected. And you can hear it in this album. There's a lot of ritualistic elements on here, trance-like. But when the black metal kicks in, it's very frantic, feral at times. But yet there's great melodies that come creeping through, good atmosphere. Album's produced really well. This duo, these guys rip, and they have a really good live. They're, you know, all done up. They've got other actors that come out and mingle among the crowd, and it's a cool vibe that they do. This band is really, really good. So yeah, if you're interested, check out Returning on Binary Recordings. And if you're in Europe, Nordvis has copies as well. Really dig this one. It's kind of like not that Cascadian black metal really went away, but it's kind of gone a bit dormant, I think. And this kind of feels like a reawakening in a good way. And it doesn't sound like everybody, but you can hear, you know, some of the more ritualistic moments on here from like Blood of the Black Owl. Yeah, it's just Fauna. You hear a lot of Fauna on this, and these are bands that these guys are very much know and are in tune with as well. So if you're into that type of black metal, very atmospheric Pacific Northwest Cascadian stuff, Returning, give it a try. Numinous.
Yeah.
I gotta listen to that. That's pretty much the style of black
I meant to
metal
throw it
really
in your box of
enjoy.
shirts, but I was so busy cramming tapes in there. I don't know if I would have had room. That'll be on the next,
No.
that'll be the next one.
No worries, I'll listen to it. That's totally right up my alley in terms of black metal that I enjoy. I tend to usually, so yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah, it is a good album, and it's a style I have not really been in the mood for lately. So the fact that it still caught my attention and got some spins speaks volumes, because it's I like the style in general, but just I have not been listening to a lot of atmospheric black metal lately. But that one's just like, oh, this is definitely above average. So yeah, a nice release.
Yeah, thanks. All right, Mel, you're back. Number 6.
All right, number 6, Diabolizer,
There we go.
Murderous Revelations. So this is the third band that Mustafa is in from Hyperdontia, and what's the other band that he's in?
Engulfed.
Engulfed, yeah. Band out of Turkey. This is their second full-length album, and oh my god, what a just evil, pummeling, crazy-ass album. Just so dark and dissonant and evil. Like, I mean, look at the album cover. Like, look at this. Just like, you just know that's what, like, you are in hell when you're listening to this album.
The word you're looking for is infernal. I think.
Infernal. Yeah, there we go. And like just the back artwork. So yeah, nice and glossy. Another Meisaku Unoho release. Of course, I always have several every year. Yeah, man, Mustafa's in this band. He's an incredible guitarist. One of my favorite artists in the death metal scene. He's so talented. And I think this is probably my favorite band that he's in. I think they're one of the more underrated bands too. Like Hyperdontia gets a lot of praise in the underground death metal, but man, it's so nutty. Just the vocals on this are so dark and sinister and like just heavy. And just the riffs are so good, and like you're just literally being dragged through hell the whole time you're listening to this album. Like there's no break at all. Like like you're burning in hell while you're listening to this. And just the first time I heard it I knew immediately. I was like, yeah, this is going to be one of my favorite albums this year. So I've been spinning this a lot. It's so good. If you're into more of that darker style of death metal, this is right up your alley. Great riffs, really, really great written songs. Just the vocals are so like just dark and crushing. And yeah, so just again the guitar leads on this are so good because again he's a phenomenal guitarist. So yeah, Their first full-length album that came out a couple of years ago is also very good. I feel like it kind of skated under the radar. But this one is so good. They've progressed quite a bit. So yeah, definitely check out this band. Like you're not gonna sleep while you're listening to this album. Like this is not an album you put on to fall asleep to. This is an album you listen to and you just sit there and like just do this the whole time. So yeah, you know what I mean. It's a great album.
Yeah. If you're thinking like, it's time to nod off, I think I'll put some Diabolizer on the background. Something there just doesn't add up. Yeah.
No. I play this in my car, and just the bottom end on this album is so good. It just sounds so good in my car. I need to get now. I'm like, okay, it's time to get better speakers because how it sounds in my car is how I want it to sound for all of my neighbors to hear. So yeah, it's a great album. I will not be surprised if this gets moved up by the end of the year for how much I've been playing this lately. So yeah, it's a great album.
Yeah, it'll probably crack my 10 at some point.
So good.
All right, Simon.
All right. Speaking of stuff on MSUO, we got Frenolith, Ash and Womb. One of the earliest releases of 2025 and my first review for Metallurgy of the year. Death metal from Denmark with current and former members of Chaosian, Hyperdontia, Sulphurus, and Undergang, all the usuals. Frenolith fit very much at home with those bands and with The Acquisitor wearing the shirt. The Acquisitor, one of the more underrated of that those bands, I think. But Frenolith, this is a belter. As I said in the review, it's a dark and twisted sounding album. It's their third release, and each album's getting better. I rate this over Chimera, the previous one. Huge, really huge sounding, swirling riffs. Very evil, often like Lucifer, who really need to do another album at this point. I mean, I don't want to say anything incantation, but it does have that dominating feel to it. Very oppressive sounding. It's as thick as molasses. It probably should be higher on the list, to be honest. I've been playing this so often, but we'll see where the list goes over the year. But yeah, beautiful artwork too. I really love the presentation on this.
Yeah, agreed.
Very cool. Yeah.
Really nice. Did I end up with a color? I did actually. Ended up with the pretty orange that matches the front. So
Yeah.
the whole thing's really good. Frenolith, I think don't want to say they're underrated, but like Melanie was saying, people sort of gravitate to the Hyperdontias and the Undergangs, and you kind of need to check out Frenolith if you haven't. So great stuff. Ashen Womb at number 6.
Yeah, another one that's a little in danger of getting lost because it came out so early in the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People will forget about it. But yeah, I checked it out when it came out after you reviewed it, and yeah, really solid.
Good stuff.
All right, Alan.
Oh, excuse me. All right, for my number 6, this is an album I reviewed with Rick, who's been in the chat there. So Rick and I had a lot of fun talking about the new album from Mesa, which is called The Spin. This is a Metal Blade release, an Italian band. Band I'm really happy to see, has kind of gotten signed to what passes as a major among heavy metal labels and stuff. Because I've always enjoyed their stuff, but they never struck me as a band that were going to, climb out of like cult status. And it's really cool to see that they have got an appreciation and labels have picked them up. Mesa operates in that just kind of, it's dark, gloomy, doomy, but not always completely inside the borders of heavy metal. They do stray outside the boundaries with their sound and style a bit. And songs can vary a lot, from track to track. Some songs are going to be a lot heavier than other songs are. Their first album, was a lot fuzzier, more distorted, really cool sound. But they abandoned that pretty quickly and started, going off in different directions, cleaner sounds. I've enjoyed some albums more than others, but yeah, The Spin is a really good listen from the band. It showcases them doing everything well. Yeah, Sarah's got, one of the prettiest voices for this kind of style of, again, My default is to always say doom metal, but you got to understand that it's way over there. If folks are familiar with like the band Faytooth from California, it's that kind of where it is doomy, but it's not completely fair to put it in the doom metal category. They're not trying to be Candlemass.
There's
or
some like
Trouble.
Susie and the Banshees, kind of that post-punk.
They bring in a lot of that
vibe.
kind of things. Yeah, it's got that gray sadness to it of doom. But yeah, musically, Marty, that's a good direction to point towards. They draw from post-punk, they draw from jazz, they draw from other things. Almost every album has one song that's kind of long. Well, they have like a weird solo. If I remember, like the debut album had a clarinet solo. One album has a saxophone solo. Okay. But they do those kinds of things. They really work in a lot of different styles and influences. So cool band. Was really happy with the way the new album here turned out. So if you have not heard the Spin by Mesa, again, it's the kind of thing that's easy to glance past. The cover art's not always that eye-catching. The logos, I like their logo, but it's always very small up in the corner somewhere. But a cool band, that again is working in their own space. They're not really trying to sound like anybody, but they have a really cool sound. If you want something that's got that just kind of, it's not suicidal, but it's the depressive. It's the gray, rainy day kind of music. That's Mesa. And it's a great album. It started out higher on my list, but a couple of things pushed it a few spots down. Might climb back up later in the year. We'll see. It's a good album.
All right.
Over to you, Marty.
My screen up here. Yeah, this will be my last power metal of the episode. See if why isn't this working? Anyway, Elven King, Reader of the Runes, Luna. Yep, this is the band's latest album, and I did a review on this, and I have enjoyed the last two Elven King albums, the only other two I have, and this album I was very impressed. The guy's got a unique voice, and how well layered the album is. Very much very theatrical in ways. The way the whole concept is presented musically, you kind of feel like they're trying to portray a cinematic experience with their music. So it's pretty impressive how it all comes together. The guitar work is exceptional. The guy's voice always felt a bit fragile at times, but when he locks in on these choruses, he really has a unique way of singing, and there is a power there. It's just he's just different the way he presents it. But yeah, Reader of the Runes, Luna. Again, I haven't got around to picking it up yet, and hopefully I will do so before the end of the year. But yep, Elven King, check them out. I know there's not a big contingent of power metal fans in this crowd, but embrace the cheese. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Simon, embrace the cheese.
Yeah, I can't quite hear you over the pounding riffs in the corner.
Yeah, the dog barking along to the Titan Blood album.
yeah.
Rabid dogs. Anyway, well, we are at number 5. We're cruising
Wow.
along.
All right. Well, going on the coattails of Simon, front Action Womb. So he pretty much said everything I was going to say. This is a very dark, brooding album. I think it's their best. I was such a fan of Chimera. I love that album, but this one exceeded my expectations. There's something dark and evil in Denmark, and they sure know how to use that as an influence into the death metal that they write. And I love it. I'm so addicted to that whole scene over there. I eat it up, and I buy everything whenever it gets released. But I will say Dave Mikkelsen from Undergang and Extremely Rotten is in this band. And I'll admit this is my favorite music that he's a part of. I love Frenolith. I prefer them over the other music that he creates. And this album is so good, so crushing. Just everything I like about my death metal: suffocating, dark, crushing, evil. And it's phenomenal. So yeah, Simon nailed it on the head with everything. And of course, it's another Meisaka Unoho release. I don't know how many of those I'm going to have in my top this year, but it's going to be a lot already. I can tell you that. So yeah, and I also got the orange record. It just goes so nice with the album cover. Yeah, God, yeah, I don't know. You already said everything before me, but yeah, I will not be surprised if this goes a little bit higher by the end of the year with
Mhm.
how much I've been playing this.
Yeah, same here.
All right, Simon.
Oh, it's back to me. Well, yeah, Melanie picked it. This was going to come at some point. Yeah, the Mephitic Corpse. Sickness attracts sickness. God, that cover, just everything. It's just everything. So good. Californian 3-piece. This is their first full length. As Melanie said, it's 2019 demo came out. I actually forgot entirely about the band. It's just that long between drinks with these guys. I didn't hear anything about this coming, and then suddenly we had an album. If Mortician had a real drummer and played gore grind, it might sound a bit like this. The guitars are tuned to like drop Z. I don't know what's going on. It's ridiculous. Monotone, unintelligible vocals. Like, this is Neanderthal stuff, but the groove, the swagger in this thing is just unparalleled. It's so much fun, head bobbing. You just roll with this death metal. It's so good. The thick, very thick sound, very snappy snare. Kind of takes me back to that late 90s sort of Deaden first Skinless album, that kind of thing. That production, the snare on this thing is just totally the first Skinless album. Immortal Fate, of course. The best track for me is the side A closer. There's some track lists. Great title on it. Intrusive thoughts lead to impatient butchering. Well, yeah, you don't want to be impatient with your butchering, but it's a crushing palm muted groove with lots of squealies in that one. It's such a duh kind of death grind thing, but it's amazing. I love it. Dumb as a bag of hammers. I could give a shit. Mephitic Corpse, a lot of fun.
So good.
Playing it so often.
All right, Ellen.
All right, number 5. I don't think it's a coincidence that the top 5 are the ones I actually have gotten CDs for this year. Like I said, I have ordered the Malachim, and it just got back ordered. But number 5 was kind of unintentional because somebody on this panel got an extra copy of it by mistake and threw it in a box to me. So it's like, check this out. And I was just like, okay. And I'll admit I had passed on it. Marty mentioned it in his honorable mentions, and we've had some fun with it already. But it's once again time to talk about Owlbear. And right here, up front for Melanie. An owlbear is a fantasy creature from Dungeons and Dragons that is half owl and half bear. It lives in forested habitats and is known as a very fearsome creature for role-playing game parties to encounter when they're doing woodsland encounters. So there you go. Now, Carbon in the chat mentioned something earlier when this came up on Marty's honorable mention list. He's just like, oh, based on that name and, you know, the concept, the D&D thing, I kind of been avoiding that one. And I already told Carbon in the chat, I'm like, I'm right there with you. Same thing. I saw this, you know, Marty mentioned it, I think, around the time it came out back in February. I'm just like, oh, goody. Another band that is just going to become one big Dungeons and Dragons meme. Been there, done that. It's a joke that tends to be very shallow for me. I've played my fair share of role-playing games. Yeah, I may or may not have put off losing my virginity for a couple of years while, you know working with a dwarf paladin on a long, jaunty adventure. I've said too much. Anyway. And so these kind of things, it's just like, ha, 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 yeah, it's fun, I get it. And then I don't want to hear it again. It's almost like Steel Panther or something like that. It's funny once, but it has no staying power. So I also avoided this. I'm just like, nah, I don't need another one of those. But Marty sent it my way. I'm just like, okay, we'll now give it a chance. And holy crap, if this isn't actually extremely good. And here's why I think this works out. Some of the other bands that tried to do this, you get the sense that they started out as role-playing nerds who eventually learned to play instruments. Whereas with Owlbear, these are actual musicians who just happen to like Dungeons and Dragons stuff. They're kind of doing it the other way around. The main person in the band is Katie Scary, Fun name. She's been in several other projects, and it does show that she's got some experience in bands. This isn't her first rodeo. She's got a good idea of what she's doing here.
Very good singer.
Very good female vocalist. Yeah, really powerful voice without going into any kind of extreme vocals or over the top. Just a really good, solid, powerful delivery. A little bit like Janice from Mean Mistreater, not quite as rough and tough maybe, but still really, really good. So I don't forget it later. Their drummer, it's an almost all female lineup, and the drummer has one of the best stage names I've ever read. The drummer goes by Estee Slaughter. I cannot stop smiling every time I say that. That is fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I'll rate that.
You just can't beat that. What you've got here, so finally getting around to the music on it. It's a very powerfully delivered, traditional epic metal kind of thing. But it really focuses on more like, the US power metal style of delivery. It's very muscular, very forceful, lots of, big lead guitar moments, double bass drumming creeping in lots of places here and there. Epic metal bands sometimes, drift a lot more towards like the longer song structures. They stick to the mid-tempo pace. They're balancing kind of a doomy element to their music. Owlbears, no, we're not doing that at all. We're leaning into, the faster, harder, heavier sound. It never gets thrashy. It's not over the top. It's very much rooted right there in traditional metal. Has all these big epic overtones, but it's very well delivered. The production is very loud. It's very one of those albums that's kind of brick walled up in your face, but I think that actually helps here. It gives the album a lot of punch. It really kicks ass. The other thing that helps here is, again, they don't stick to the joke. Yes, Owlbear is the name of the band. Ha ha ha, funny. The cover, yes, Dungeons and Dragons. Ha ha ha, funny. Beyond that, and the fact that it's just, it's got some generic fantasy kind of themes, warrior, arrows, sword kind of stuff. It's not like every song is just meant to be, here's a chapter 6 of, my vampire elf adventure I wrote in 10th grade creative writing class. There's none of that bullshit about it. It's like, we just kind of took the basic idea. We like Dungeons and Dragons, but this isn't a Dungeons and Dragons album. It's not meant to be a soundtrack, to your Sunday afternoon RPG. It's just really good fantasy themed, screaming, powerful power metal. Now, to the point, Marty, that you and Parker made about it feeling a little samey from track to track, there is some of that, happening. That all of these songs punch same. There are exceptions along the way, though, and it takes a few lessons to ferret them all out.
And I haven't gotten there. I've done 3 maybe.
And fair enough. And the first 3 listens, I agree. It's just like, it's kind of the same song over and over. But no, it's actually not. For example, track 3, Crawl from the Carcass. It's a much slower pounding number. This is the kind where everyone's supposed to kind of chant or sing along. The closer, Fall of Netheril, is a lot slower. This one has a little more of an ethereal vibe to it. These bands will often, I've noticed with their last track, back off a little bit. Instead of going out screaming with power, they kind of switch it up a little bit to show, hey, we can do other styles too. We just finished screaming with power and vengeance for 8 or 9 tracks. We don't need to do another one to close the album. Wild Shape, it has a different structure to it. It's based around a huge killer catchy riff that they really drive home throughout the song. So there are some variations, but it does take a good handful of listens to tease everything out. So it's not as one-dimensional as it might seem after just the first couple of spins. Bottom line, blew me away. Fantastic album. I've only had it a couple of weeks, so kind of a late addition to the list, and it already climbed to 5th on the list. I almost pushed it to 4th, but I didn't have the heart to do so. If it keeps getting spins like this, it may be higher by the end of the year. I may burn myself out on it because I really have spun it a lot and enjoyed it. Just to put it kind of in final context for how much of an impact and impression this made on me, folks have probably noticed I don't own a wide range of heavy metal t-shirts. I wear the same few shirts. The Score Gut shirts is one of the only shirts I've probably bought in the
You
past
should buy
year.
yourself a Melanie Loves Death Metal t-shirt, now available over at her website. You should click
I
in the
will be getting one of
description.
Melanie's. I will get one of Melanie's t-shirts. Yes, absolutely. It's a really cool design. My wife saw it on her social media the other day. She's like, "Have you seen Melanie's new shirt?" She's like, "It's freaking awesome." I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, she's a top fan on my Facebook, so I appreciate that.
she really likes your content and following you. Yeah, she really does. But to circle back to my point here, like on the second spin of this, I was already over on the band's Bandcamp. Like, please tell me you just have a black T-shirt with this picture on it, because if you do, I will buy it right now. And they do.
Yep.
Except of course, it's only extra small and extra large is all that's left. So it's just like fuck. So yes, Owl Bear, if you're listening out there, kudos, fantastic album. Please restock the shirt sizes for the black shirt, not the sky blue one. I've got a sky blue Blind Guardian shirt, and I don't wear it because it's sky blue. If you restock the black shirt, I will buy 2 of them, and I'll give one away to somebody else as just a free, VCLT kind of thing. But you got to stock like the large, extra large kind of sizes. The tiny and the giant big, I just can't do anything with those. So yes, there's my long, gushy ramble about Owlbear's Feather and Claw. Great album. If you like this style, and like I said earlier in the show, there's been a lot of stuff in this vein that's come out this year. The new Vulture's Vengeance album is really good. This is fantastic. I think this is just about the pick of the litter so far this year. So yes, don't get hung up on the jokey name or the jokey cover. It actually is a really solid, kick-ass, epic, traditional heavy metal album. I've said my piece. We can move on.
RM says that they have the black one stock XL and above. Can you do an XL? It looks like that's
XL is really dicey for me, RM. Thank you for checking. XL, it really depends on how it was made. Like this Gorgut shirt is an XL and it fits okay. A large probably would have fit slightly better. I probably won't take the chance on the XL. But yes, if they'll restock a large, I will buy a large, and then I'll buy another large, or maybe, hey, I'll buy one large and one extra large because some folks need the extra large. I'll give the extra large away on a future episode of Heavy Metallurgy, and I will wear the large with pride, even though it says Owl Bear.
all right. Well,
All right, Marty, you're number 5.
Another binder and release. This album was a long time coming. Harrow of the Lost by Contreras. 10 years in between this and the debut, which we also put out. The main vocalist Steve Black passed away unexpectedly. He was sick, but not sick enough to go. But long, crappy story. But kind of put this band on ice for a bit. It's Michael Blencarn, who is also in Woden's Throne, and he's also in Nemeris, which is another binder band. And his wife Alexandra plays keyboards on this, but sessions drums by Austin Lund from Panopticon. This album is really, really good, atmospheric. If you like bands like Woden's Throne, that's right in there. There's a slight hint of Emperor in it, but it was more so on the debut. This one is a lot more just atmospheric and a little less. There's technical things on here, but it's not as I guess as sweeping as Emperor could be, but it's definitely sits on the same shelf. And Michael's voice is just as scathing and raw as Steve's was. He did a great job. So there's 4 tracks on here, all dealing with different levels of grief and loss, and it's a very impactful, emotional record. Hopefully we'll do CDs of it eventually once the vinyl sells down. But yeah, Austin Lund is playing drums on. He's a member of the band. I said sessions, but he's actually a member of the band. But yeah, this is a very powerful album. If you're into atmospheric black metal, we got you covered. Very good album. Again, if you're a fan of Woden's Throne, it's right in line with that stuff as well.
Yep, I'm slacking on my atmospheric black metal. That sounds right up my alley too.
Oh, just be
Mm.
patient. I'm sure a little VCLT fairy will hook you up. Like I said, it should have went out today, but I didn't want them to get screwed up in the box. Anyway,
That's
How
right.
does that work, Marty? You like lose a tooth in a mosh pit and you put it under
Yep.
your pillow at night, and you wake up and there's like an atmospheric black metal album left behind.
Pretty much.
just don't wake up when the tooth fairy's switching out the VCLT fairy switching out your stuff, because you're not gonna like what you wake up and see hanging over you. It's not good.
That could lead to some therapy right there.
Some therapy sessions for sure. All right,
Some heavy therapy sessions, and I'm not talking about Patrick, who's over
Yeah.
in the chat. Cheers to Patrick.
All right. So shockingly, this is the only $20 spin release that I have to talk about so far this year.
Oh
They do
man,
have
your check from them is going to bounce if you don't. Pick up the
Oh
slack.
man, I know. I do have something coming soon. They
We're gonna
released
take you off the
another,
payroll.
but the new Corpus Awful, self-titled. So as you guys know, Cerebral Rot is no longer a band, and these are members of Cerebral Rot. They've created this new band. Their demo came out last year that I loved. This album, when I first heard it, it didn't really click with me too much right away. Maybe it just wasn't in the mood quite yet. And then since then, I've probably played this just about daily. Fantastic, horror-soaked, gross death metal. A lot of people are saying, like they assume it's going to sound exactly like Cerebral Rot because of the members, but it doesn't. Not at all. It's their own sound, and it's really good. I mean, they're not really breaking any boundaries here or anything like that, but as far as modern death metal goes, like this is what I would want to listen to over and over again. So yeah, I just, it's really growing on me a lot. Like I've been listening to it a lot lately. When it first came out, I kind of slept on it a little bit because there was just other stuff that I was listening to. I was more into brutal death metal. There's definitely a brutality to this, but there's also just like a simplicity to it as well. Like again, like they're not really breaking any death metal barriers here. They're not going too technical. But yeah, I just, I really, really like it. I think it's crushing. And just the vinyl of this is so disgustingly beautiful. There's something about this artwork that I just love. The whole layout of it is so good. And that's the whole reason why I bought the record, because I already own the cassette tape. It's even inside. Like
Yeah,
I saw that.
I like the inside.
Somebody,
I don't get the printing on the inside. That shit, it's cool, but man, as a
it's
label
so
guy,
good.
if someone said we want this on the inside, I'd be like,
Awesome.
God, yeah, because
Oh,
what are we?
no.
What are we? An ATM machine?
Listen, Marty. I'm a sucker for this. When they do the flooding on the inside, I love it. It's just a little nitpicky detail that it really doesn't matter, but I always enjoy the effort. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's good. There's really nothing like stands out that says like, oh, they're doing this I've never heard before. I've heard everything that they're doing, but they just do it really well. It's just really well written. It's not over the top. It's not trying to like look at me or anything. Like they're just playing death metal and they're incorporating the disgustingness to it in their own way. But yeah, it's a good album. I really enjoy it. Again, a really slow year for a $20 spin for me. I still haven't listened to the new Tribunal. I really liked their first album. But yeah, so I don't know. These guys are taking a little bit of a vacation this year with my wallet. But this one has, I mean, I love this album so much I bought both the t-shirts too. So when I really enjoy albums is when I buy the shirts, because I'm not a big I try not to spend my money too much on shirts and try to save it for the physical format. But yeah. But,
you heard it here first. Melanie hates $20 spin. She says the label's awful, going down the tubes. Yeah.
No. Stop it.
The internet needs some drama tonight.
Clickbait. All right. Simon.
More like $20 bin. Ha ha ha.
Ooh. There we go.
Number 4.
There,
Phosphor.
yeah.
There
Testify.
it is. Abhorrent worship. Yeah, I've been following these guys since their first 2 demos. Wasn't really sure what the band was going to end up doing, but they really they blasted away those demos. This is so much better than what they were previously doing. it's very ugly, very heavy death metal. On the slow to very slow side of the speed spectrum. Has a sort of putrid, snarled, necrophagia style vocals from Isabel Plunkett is her name, very much in that Vastum style. And she's also the main guitarist and I presume songwriter, sort of like her band. And it's really, really strong stuff. The other two members of the band, drummer and the bassist, are from a stoner doom band called Jex Thoth.
Really good
and
band too. I love their
I
stuff.
think the sluggish pace that you get in here is pretty evident from that stoner stuff that they do in their other project. This is somewhere between Vastum and Depigus sound for me. Definitely leaning to the Depigus, but not as sort of Neanderthal at all. This is actually reasonably smart for that kind of death metal. Thick and crunchy, but very organic riffs. I really like the artwork. Originally, it didn't grab me, but the more I look at it, the more I think it's actually very,
Yeah,
very
the artwork
impressive.
is kind of a disappointment for me too. I like the color scheme, but I wasn't a huge fan of the artwork.
No, I'm with Simon. It kind of grew on
Yeah.
me because I thought at first it
It
looked
grew on.
weird, but I like the
Different.
the
It is
design
different.
now.
Yeah, it's all dripping down there from the sacrificial whatever's going on, and it's good in that it's a lot of double bass. There's very little, if any, blasting. There's no D beat. It's just mallet swinging death metal. It's ugly. It's foul, and it goes hard when it's played loud. So yeah, Ossuary, Abhorrent Worship, easily at 4. Yeah, good stuff.
Everything you just said describes my 6th grade gym teacher.
She's ugly and foul. Goes hard.
It's hard.
It's hard.
Mallet swinging.
Wow.
Oh.
He's trying to get an extra pull-up out of you, Alan. Come on.
Who said it was a he?
Right. All right. Number
All right.
4.
Number 4 for me is a new wave of traditional heavy metal outfit from Austin, Texas, called Mean Mistreater. This is their second album called Do or Die. The cover art is in the same style, same artist as the debut. So there's some nice continuity there between the two albums. And the debut just came out last year. So I was kind of surprised that already early in 2025, they were offering up album number 2. So it's like, okay, that could be a good thing, or it could be, a little too much too soon. But I'm happy to report that, yeah, they really do nail it again on this album. The debut from 2024 ranked really high on my year-end list. Really like the band's take. There are a lot of bands doing, new wave of traditional heavy metal. And yes, there are slightly different styles of it. Not every band's doing exactly the same thing. But it is a hard genre to stand out in. It's an easy genre to be competent at. It's a hard genre to really be outstanding at, because you're not only competing with your contemporaries, you're kind of deliberately borrowing almost all your aesthetics from templates that were established 40 years ago by other bands around the world. So you're also being like, all right, we're just going to be a lot like something that maybe came out in 1984, but so are 100 other bands doing it in 2025. So again, I check out a lot of these bands, and again, the adjective that often comes to mind is that's competent. Competent isn't a bad thing, but when you're a band and you're trying to attract fans and sell records and stuff like that, being described as competent really probably is not what you're aiming for. That's a very competent. Yeah, that's a very competent guitar solo. You're a very competent singer. This song is competently constructed. This is, pretty, average is what it comes down to. Mean Mistreater is anything but average. They really have quickly become, one of my favorite. They're vying for my favorite in this style. Vocalist Janice has a fantastic voice for this sound. Again, no extreme vocals or anything like that, but she has a very tough blue-collar delivery. She sounds like she will kick your ass. And I'm pretty sure if you met her and you pissed her off, she would kick your ass. I have no doubts about this whatsoever. excellent musicianship throughout. The guitars are always looking for a chance to jump in and just, shred a little bit in true 80s heavy metal Guitar Hero glory. The rhythm section is always delivering something, it's very punchy. They're holding down the fort, keeping, the song driving forward. They know exactly what to do, and they do it extremely well. Again, there is nothing new about Mean Mistreater. Lots of bands have done this and are doing this. That's okay with me, but the catch is always that you then have to do it extremely well. If you're just competent, that's great, but I'm going to move on pretty fast. Mean Mistreater are excellent at all aspects. They know their craft, and they do it fantastically well. So yeah, this album, even though it comes right on the heels of the debut, this one's also already really high on my list for 2025. I will nitpick one thing about the album. 8 songs, about 28 minutes. It is very short. The debut was similar. I think it was 9 tracks and maybe like 32 minutes. The 2 albums together barely fill an hour. Wouldn't have minded them taking, just another month or 2 if it needed. Add a 9th track. Let's at least get it over the half-hour mark. CDs are not getting any cheaper. They're on, I want to say Dying Victims Productions, good label, but they put out a lot of stuff. But for what it goes through to order a CD these days and pay shipping and all that, 28 minutes feels just a tad short, even though it's a really solid 28 minutes. A couple of absolute classics already on here with Killer Red and the title track Do or Die. These are instant playlist kind of songs. But next time out, let's at least get over the 30-minute mark, guys. You can do it. You've written 2 albums of really high octane and high quality tracks. I want just a little bit more added to the next album so that it doesn't feel like it's almost a longer EP. That would be my only little complaint about Mean Mistreater's sophomore album, Do or Die. I've pointed out several of these on my list tonight. They're like 2nd or 3rd albums by these bands, and the bands are getting better. They weren't one-and-done bands. They didn't, blow their wad on the first album and then hit writer's block or have no ability to put any good songs together after that. A lot of these bands are doing really well on their 2nd and 3rd outings, which is absolutely fantastic. All right. Mean Mistreater, great band.
Really intrigued with that one, Alan. That one, I'm gonna have to give that a listen.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how much you like. I'm sorry.
The vocalist saying that she's very blue collar sounding. Is like, I'm picturing like a Betsy bitch. Am I on the right sort of wavelength there?
Yeah, definitely more in that tradition. Not
right.
as like gravelly or gruff as like a Leather Leone or anything like that.
Huh.
But definitely heavier than someone like Doro. A lot more street level, mean kind of streak to her than Doro ever sounded like.
Surprisingly, I love Doro. You would probably not assume that by me.
Well,
no,
so,
you've got
rules.
You've got your true metal chops, Melanie. I'm not surprised at all. It wasn't a slight against Doro at all. Just the fact that this Doro sounds like a good female vocalist. Janice sounds like if you were to whistle at her, she'd probably break a pool cue over your head and then take your wallet while you're laying there in a puddle of your own piss and blood.
My kind of gal. That is my kind of girl.
Yeah, exactly. Just like kudos to her. Just fantastic voice for this style.
Check it out.
Good deal. Hope you enjoy it. All right, Marty. What is number 4 on your list?
Well, we're getting into finally a bit of death metal. Ancient Death. The Ego Dissolution.
Nice.
This thing, who reviewed this? Was it?
I did.
You did? Right on.
I did.
I was quite taken with the sound clips and ended up buying it. It's old school death metal in a way that actually means what it says. There's actually riffs here and songs here. And I'm not saying the new version of old school death metal doesn't have that, but it's a lot more sound than it is riffs. A lot of chugging, a lot of murky playing around. But this here, the songs are mildly technical, but they keep it. There's a melodic thread spun throughout these songs. They keep going back to. It just has like a less techie version of like the first Atheist record. It's kind of what it kind of puts me in mind of a bit from that
Yeah.
era as well, from that
That's a
whole
good-
era.
That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, it's a good production. It's just really has that old flair that I like. And the songs are solid. I know one or two of the guys in this band are also in Atheists right now. So I mean, I guess that makes kind of some sense. But yeah, Profound Lore Records. This thing is just really well done, and I do dig the cover too. I like the color scheme. The whole thing works out really well. So yeah, if you're into old school death metal with songs, this is something you should definitely check out.
Yep. And Jeff over at Gas Masks and Hand Grenades interviewed, and I can't think of his name, but yeah, the guitarist who's also, I've been working with Atheist in recent years. A super nice guy, really friendly.
Yep.
They had a really good interview and conversation a while back when that came out.
All right, Melanie, and I will be right back.
All right. Listen, Simon.
Okay, here we go.
Buy the fucking album. All right.
Okay.
I don't know why you're sleeping on this. I
don't know,
really
really.
do not. It's a Dark Descent release. Like, come on. How can you sleep on this? So Sepulchral Curse, Crimson Moon, Evocations. So, all right. If you're not familiar with this band, they're from Finland. And they were on Transcending Obscurity previously. They have 2 albums out on Transcending Obscurity. Only Ashes Remain was the first album that I ever bought by them. Both great albums. Also have ex-members of Solothus, which was a Death Doom band that was on 20 Bucks Spin for one album, but they've broken up since. That's how I know about them. This album is now on Dark Descent, and oh my god, just leaps and bounds better than the last 2 albums they put out. Man, this is so good. I was hooked as soon as I heard it. I love just the guttural, brutal style of vocals on here. Like, they've really, really progressed their sound a lot from the last 2 albums. And just the guitar riffs on here are very melancholic. And Roger over at Roger talked about this in a recent video, and he said that it's almost, they've got like melodic riffs, and I will agree that there is a melodic style to the riffs on here. But it's a ripper through and through, but it's got a very dark, dissonant atmosphere to it. And it's not just a straightforward, like, crushing death metal album. It's got variances to it. The vocal style is relatively the same throughout the whole album, but it's all the atmosphere and the suffocation and everything that builds up into this with those amazing guitar tones. They're so good. This album I will not be surprised, honestly, if this album ends up being my album of the year because of how much I've listened to it since it's come out and how much it's really, really listened to it a lot. Yeah, I was a huge fan of their last 2 albums. I've been following this band ever since. I'm happy that they're on Dark Descent now. It's easier to get their stuff for me personally. And I think that they fit well on this label. So really definitely check this out. Just a great band. I feel like they're so underrated. People really, really it's got a doom and gloom sound to it. It's a very gloomy album, very dark. Nothing happy sounding about it at all. But it's just so well written. And it's just for me, it's just really, really good. It's their best album so far. Definitely you got to check it out. And the artwork goes well with what you're pretty much listening to, but it's just those guitar leads on here. That's what sold me. And there's an epic end song on this album. It's long, but it's so good. So everything about this is great.
Was this Sepulchral Curse?
Yeah. Dark Descent, Finnish death metal. My camera's being an asshole now I'm blurry. Okay, there we go. Good stuff. And like I said, their last albums were also very good. This is one I've managed to be able to get. This is the first one that they've released. Really good album. Their second album was really good. But yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's, again, don't be turned off when I say it has like the melodic style of guitar tones on here. It's not melodic death metal by any means. It's got a blackened sound to it for sure. Like there's that that dark and blackened sound. But it is a very, very good album. So, Marty, I think even you'll enjoy it, to be honest.
Right
so
on.
yeah, definitely, yeah, it's a very good album. I feel like I'm afraid it's going to get slept on this year because I don't think it deserves.
I hadn't even
that at
heard of
all.
it. Yeah, that's the first I've seen it. So yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay. I have to. I think what made me hesitant was that it's the third album and I've never heard the band. And I've got
Oh.
that thing, it's like, okay, do I start with the third album? What do I do here? Sometimes that throws me. But you're saying it's significantly better, so maybe it's a good starting point.
I mean,
And
their other two albums are good too. I really enjoy them. Obviously, I bought them. I mean, Transcending Obscurity Records, they put out great stuff, and this album was not cheap when I bought it. Like I think I spent like $50 or $60 to get it in from India. So, but yeah, it is. They are a good band. I think that they're very underrated and overlooked a lot, and hopefully this will get more people listening to them. I was happy to see Roger talked about it on his channel. I'm glad that he was in tune with it. So yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to Roger.
Give it a proper spin.
Ruger. Yeah, I always say Roger.
Roger.
Sorry,
No,
Ruger.
that's Roger here, and it's Roger. Roger,
Yeah.
Roger to him. Yeah.
I'm such an American. I'm an asshole. I can't pronounce his name correctly.
All right, Simon.
Okay. This one I haven't got to showing on the channel yet, but I was so excited when I listened to this that I did a very rare thing. I sent an email to Alan gushing about this, saying, Alan, this is totally up your street. You need to listen to this. And I believe he agreed. This is 11th Ray with Reviving Tihom. This is a band from Greece. I've been rarely taking this off the turntable, to be honest. It's
Never
just
even heard of this
constantly
band either. Holy shit.
No.
Yeah.
What is
They
this?
they did a
It's
demo
pretty
in
cool.
2022, which I'd never heard of, but this is just pretty much just the first thing really that they've done. Like I said, it's Dark Descent, but it sounds like they should be on Invictus Productions. It's that mix of like death, black, old speed metal, old heavy metal.
All right.
That dusty, forgotten sounding kind of material that Invictus do so well at. But it's on Dark Descent, somewhere between early Varathron and Morbid Tales, Celtic Frost. So much so, the one review on Metal Archives, the title of it is Hellenic Frost. And that's a great description of what you're getting here.
Yep. It does feel like Celtic Frost singing them. Sorry, go ahead, Simon. Yeah.
No. It's it very much is that style, and it's a bit of the latter sort of black heavy metal Dark Throne, but good, not the derivative stuff they've been doing. Some sort of it sounded like Middle Eastern themes in here. I know we were talking about that, Alan, and I can't quite put my finger on why I think that, but I definitely get that vibe on some of the tracks. There's also a track on here that's like just a minute long, just sort of Casio keyboard prism music, and like that sounds terrible, but it works so well on this thing. It's almost immediately nostalgic for me, just that one track. So vocally is what is weird. It feels like Power Trip. It's got a kind of shouted vocal style with that Varathron and Celtic Frost mix. This is all about good riffs and really, really great songs. It's all about songs. They're all distinctive. They're all memorable. And like I said, it feels like an Invictus Productions band. So if you like Negative Plane, Reversed, Hysterian Vigil, you go put this on. I think pretty safe. It does sound like it came out of like an old coffin that's filled with bullet belts and black mascara. When you open the lid, you're popping from all of the spores. It's 11th Ray. Very addictive listen. Rarely leaving the turntable. Yeah, good stuff. Check them out.
Well, you had me
Great.
sold. I'm
Good
surprised I
description.
missed this. I tend to follow pretty much everything Dark Descent puts out, but
Yeah,
I missed this
but there's
amount.
always
It
There's
has
always
gotten
like
no
one-
press. If Simon hadn't emailed me about it, I would never have heard of it. So yeah, it really
I
didn't
stayed
get
pretty
any
close
mention.
to Matt's posts on Facebook, so that's how I first saw it. And the cover intrigued me, but there's always like one band every year on Dark Descent that just goes completely under the radar.
Yeah.
And that's this one this year for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
good
no,
stuff.
Simon. Yeah, the only thing I'll add to Simon's very good description of it. Yeah, it's rooted in that old Celtic frost sound. However, like lyrically and a lot of the packaging and imagery owes a lot to like very early Therion, like Symphony Masses era. There's a lot of that whole, occulty, dragony order of, stuff going on there. And it works it's a nice combination. It works well. Simon's also right. The vocals are the part that's really hard to nail down. It's this kind of shouted style, but yeah, a bit hard to describe that was the thing. Simon and I bounced back and forth a few times trying to figure out, like, what exactly is this guy trying to sound like? It works for the music, but it is an unusual delivery.
That's kind of the Greek style, though. Like, I mean, if you think about Varathrone and like just how it's like a very theatrical shouting. Like, I guess that's just the way of saying it. So yeah, well, I'm sold because that sounds like something I would really enjoy.
Sounds
so I'm
good.
gonna go listen to this.
Maybe it's time for me to get off the power train, eh?
Put down the owl bear pig and pick up some of
take off those Elven King ears that came with the deluxe package, and
you weren't supposed to know that I took those out of the package.
Was there any chance you hadn't taken them out of the package?
No. You had to get through them to get to the 20-sided dice. So
Marty rolls a 1 on his charm total.
Your paladin is about to die. All right, Simon. You just went. Alan, I'm all confused.
That's all good. Let's see. We're on number 3, right? Speaking of albums, I've heard nobody really talk about this year. And this was a surprise to me, but it's really have enjoyed the new one from Gall's Weird, which is called Braiding the Stories. Yes, it's that Gall, Norwegian black metal artist, from Gorgoroth and other projects.
Satan.
He's done Trelldom and stuff like that. This, I think, is the second album he's done under the name Gall's Weird. And yes, the cover art is not good. It's if I'm really hoping this isn't just like a close up of the back of somebody's head, but I'm a little bit afraid it's just the back of somebody's head. It's like maybe these are supposed to be like cosmic strands and little starlight, or maybe it's just hair and dandruff.
It's Gall's beard, not Gall's weird. Gall's beard.
The cover art is weird for sure. Nevertheless, what you've got here, probably unsurprisingly, is Norwegian post black metal. So it's going to have a certain oddness and a certain progression to it. It's not a style I always check into. It's it can be interesting to see what these bands do. It is not easy music to get into. Marty, you can feel free to insert shaved cat and red wine kind of joke here. Except this album avoids that. And that's what really caught my attention right off. This album is not trying to sound, all hoity-toity and, mature. And, that's, yes, we're wearing the turtleneck, while sipping, the, filet mignon and petting monks. There's really none of that kind of attitude about the album, even though it's, obviously working in sort of a similar sonic space. Instead, the album has a very warm, natural feel to it. Rather than feeling like you're sitting in a, room that's solid white, except for your glass of wine, you feel like you're sitting at a campfire with guys just playing naturally. They have a very intuitive feel on how to play with one another. You get the feeling these guys, practice a lot or have a lot of history jamming together. And so while it's a progressive post-black metal album, it just has a very warm and natural and smooth delivery to it. So it's like, wow, they found a way to avoid just sounding like, pompous and arrogant. Big plus. There's also just some really gorgeous music on it. It starts off extremely well. There are some little interlude parts in here, but they work well tying it all together. The title track, Braiding the Stories, is very nicely put together. Little bits of synth work, but it doesn't take over. It's not trying to be showy. Nothing about this is trying to be showy. it all really contributes to the music and the song. The middle of the album, it doesn't go into like ambient territory, but you do have some songs, that are focusing maybe a little more on some repetition, slowly building layers on top of one another. So a lot of these songs start kind of quiet and simple, and then 5 minutes later, you're listening to it and it's just like, holy crap, there's a lot of stuff going on now. But again, it all feels very natural. It's a very organic sound to it. The big highlight on the album is the closing track, Flowing Starlight. It has some absolutely gorgeous post-punk guitar work within it. It really is up there with like the best stuff you might hear from something like early Chameleons output. What else to say? There's a couple of tracks that are a little more aggressive. It doesn't just stay in this particular. There's a big old honking melody really nicely. So the flow to it, great starting transitional parts through the middle of the album, kind of wakes you up with a heavier track near the end, and just goes out with this absolutely beautiful closing track. It's an absolute highlight song, not just for this album, but I think it's going to be like a highlight song for the whole year. So yeah, Gall's Weird. From what I understand, I have not heard the first album they did. This one has been described as a little more accessible, a little easier to, wrap your head around. And I had no trouble getting into this album. This wasn't something I had to like play 20 times and beat my head against. It's like with a few spins, I'm like, this is really cool and I'm getting it, but it's also held up really, really well to the 12 listens it's gotten since then. So yeah, great album. Hasn't gotten any attention. The only reason it crossed my radar at all was that Jeff and Hunter over at Radical Research, they did one of their short 0.5 episodes about it, specifically talking just about the track Flowing Starlight, because they both really got hooked on that one. And I was like, that is a really good song. I wonder what the rest of the album sounds like. So I found it. Actually, I probably got it like just free with Amazon points now that I think about it. It's like, hey, you know what? I'll take a chance on that because that was a really cool song. And yeah, this is a really, really nicely done album. It avoids all the problems I usually have with this genre and replaces it with components that are just, really lush, really warm, and very natural feeling. So huge kudos to Gall's Weird. It's a really cool album. There we go.
All right. I have stupidly not bought this yet. I will get around to it.
Yeah. Oh, just sorry. So I'm lost track of my cursor, but yeah, Jeremy made a good point here. Yeah, it is not just some solo project for Gall to showcase himself. This is a full band effort. Everybody is contributing in a really meaningful way and very cohesive. That's really well said, Jeremy.
All right. Well, this here, this is one of these instances where this is Havakrunu's Tavisland.
I love them. They're so good.
This is one of those bands that I've heard people praise, and I just, for some reason, and I'm a big Finnish black metal guy. I never got around to checking them out. I think it was Alan and Kellen that you guys did a joint review on this one.
That we did.
Holy crap. I was pretty blown away by what I heard. And this is Finnish black metal, very well produced, but it isn't, there are moments where it's rocking, but it's almost an avant-garde approach. But it's not so all-consuming and alienating that there's actually songs here. The vocalist is very diverse in his approach, but he's got great gritty screams, and the guitar work, very intricate, very strange, but it somehow really sets an excellent mood, an atypical mood. Again, I've only sat with the files 3 or 4 times, but it's like made a huge impact, a huge impression. It's one of those that's at the top of my list when I can start buying stuff again. And yeah, I mean, does anybody want to add to this? Because I know I'm super late to this band, super late.
Maybe in a little while.
Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite black metal bands. They're unique. They have a very unique sound. I love their past releases. Like everything they put out has been so good. Their EPs, their full lengths, everything. So definitely check it out. I have not listened to this yet. So this will probably be what will get me back into black metal when I finally do listen to it. But yeah, they're
It's
very,
really
very
good. It's really a good album.
Yeah.
All right. Simon, this one hasn't ended up on your radar yet?
No, the band in general really hasn't. I'm aware of them, but just for some reason, I've never really checked them out properly. So it sounds like I should.
Yeah, you should. You'll like them.
You'll dig it. Yeah. Havakrunu, Metal Kev. HAVUKRUUNU.
I'll put it in the chat real
Oh,
quick.
so Carbon already he beat you to it.
Oh,
All the
okay.
you.
Thanks, Carbon.
All the U's. It's Finnish after all. Okay.
Yeah.
We're down to number 2, Melanie.
All right. Well, you guys have already talked about it.
Yeah.
There it is
Ossuary.
again. Nice.
So I, much like Rick, I think he mentioned a while back in the chat, I was hooked the minute I heard their first demo, and I've been such a massive fan of this band ever since. So I was really, really excited about this. This was one of my most anticipated albums of the year, and I have played this just about every single day since I've gotten it. It is so, like, Izzy's vocals are just so good. Like,
It's great.
she has like this very dark, evil, like very, like, almost depressing style of vocals. Like, there's a lot of anguish in her sound that she does. This whole entire album is like that. Like, there is not a bright spot on this album whatsoever. Like, this is not a happy album sound at all. But yeah, just everything they put out and up into this, oh god, everything you guys have said about this album, plus 1,000 other things that I could say, just everything about it has clicked with me. Just the suffocating atmosphere in this I absolutely love. And like, I don't feel like it's a mood album for me at all. I've been able to put it on and just really get into it and immerse myself into it. And I think probably my only criticism is, again, was the album artwork, because their other album artwork is a little bit different that they put out so far on their demos and their EP that they came out last year. And that's such a nitpicky thing. I mean, I guess if you look really into it, there's some brutalness to it. Yeah, no, she's a phenomenal vocalist, and just the band, just, it's a very unique style of death metal that I absolutely love. And I just, yeah, everything about this album is good. This was tough putting at number 2, because I think this is one of my most spinned albums this year. I have every single one of their cassette tapes as well. Like, this is one of those bands that I immediately, as soon as I heard their stuff, I went and bought everything. So yeah, I love this album, but you guys have pretty much already nailed just about everything else. But yeah, it was so hard to put at number 2. This was tough.
Yep.
These next 2 are really hard for me to decide on.
All right.
Great.
Simon.
That's me again. Okay. The one and only CD I'm showing in this video. An unexpected new favorite band for me. As soon as I heard the promo for this thing, I kind of went into the promo going, "Oh, yeah, this is going to be, this is going to be generic or whatever." No, this completely destroyed my eardrums. Yeah, Putridity, Morbid Atraxia. Fuck me. Italian brutal death metal band, Putridity. As I said, completely new to me, but this is their fourth full length. It is completely insane. They're on Willow Tip, which is 90% of descriptor of what you need for this kind of band. Willow Tip bands, Defeated Sanity, Newer Malignancy are on that label. There's also, you could compare it to Newer Brodequin, but this is like a speed drummer's wet dream. It is doesn't stop. It doesn't stop the whole time. Syncopated with the riffs. The reason I went CD is it's a very compressed sounding album, but that's what you need for this kind of music. You couldn't do this in an ossuary kind of sound. It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't work. It'd be a blurry mess. So they've got to be tighter and that compressed sound. But it's a jackhammer to the skull. It's barely half an hour. The last track on it is a cover of a old Enmity song. Enmity was a brutal death band from 2005 or something, and they completely destroy that. It's such a good cover, far better than the original band, to be honest. I love the cover. It's
Yeah.
like kind of weird.
Yeah.
Little
This
bit,
old lady's pissed.
yeah, it's a little bit rude. A little bit rude. There you go. It's less rude. Yeah. Inside. It's actually fairly complex with a lot of change ups for something like this, but it still destroys your spinal cord. Got some really funny. There's a couple of really funny little samples in there, and Melanie knows the one I'm probably talking about when they interview the lady on the street, and it's completely unexpected response. It's so funny, but it works with the music on here. And between all the tracks, the start of the album, the end of the album, between the tracks, there's like this industrial grinding sound, and they always go back to it, like this ambient, weird mechanical sound. It's underlying the entire production all the way through. It is a rare album for me that sounds better on headphones than speakers. I'm always playing stuff on my stereo, but for me, this actually is better to play with headphones, probably because of the production to it. But it is ridiculous. If you like brutal death metal in that that sort of united guttural kind of style, and like I said, it's willow tip, you're gonna like this. It's great. But big surprise for me. I haven't heard anything prior. I know Melanie's been showing them on channel recently and in some of the giveaways.
Yep, I'm giving these away. So
maybe when I entered the competition, maybe I'll end up with one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I'm only speaking to Melanie about this one. I don't know about Marty, Alan, or people in the chat, but for me, this is absolutely destructive. So
I can't.
Haven't heard it.
I can't picture Marty and Alan really liking it. I will say this: a lot of people hear brutal death metal and they think that it's stupid. This is not stupid. It's
I don't
so
think
well
brutal death
written.
metal's stupid. It's just I don't know. I don't know what I think.
It's
like
very
the comparisons I had there, like the newer
Defeat Insanity. Yeah,
Yeah.
the newer Defeat Insanity. Just the musicianship on this is incredible. Like, just they're so talented. This would be higher. This would have been on my list if I listened to it more, but there's so much that has come out. But I bought it as soon as I heard it. I need to go back. Like, brutal death metal, obviously, something I listen to all the time. So, but yeah, the band is so good. Their last album was really, really good, which is what I'm giving away too. So yeah, very, very good album.
Awesome.
All right, Alan.
All right, number 2, one that has been shown already. So getting another vote for me is the new Ancient Death, Ego Dissolution. Marty gave a really good description of this earlier. There are definitely atheist-like moments on some of these tracks, which makes sense given that the lineup similarity. The thing that really makes this stand out to me, and I guess there's 2 things. One, they have, while it's, obviously kind of, a little techy, there's really high caliber musicianship going on. It also develops a really gloomy atmosphere. It doesn't go in a cold or clinical direction, which musicians of this caliber sometimes, stray in that way. This has, that very gray, gloomy. It's not oppressive. It's not music to stare into the abyss and lose your soul and vomit Satan or anything to. Just a good, solid, dark, leaden gray kind of atmosphere. The bigger thing that stands out to me with it is that they leave a lot of space in the music. It's not a cramped feeling album. They're not packing everything in every second. There's a lot of space left so that when the guitar is playing, you really hear the guitar. Other things are giving it room to operate. When there's a riff, they're really letting the riff come to the front. And I really like that aspect of this album a lot. It's what made it have, a strong replayability for me. That it's not an album that wears you out trying to keep up with, every little time change and every little, harmonic minor scale, chord jump, string bend, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, no, we can do that stuff, but we're going to take it easy here and really let the songs open up and develop and never lose the atmosphere for a want of showing off and just, going nuts overboard with things. That's what makes Ego Dissolution really, really cool for me. And that's why I've got it ranked this high. It's, I like things like Atheist's Unquestionable Presence. That's an album that's grown on me a lot over the time. But, those kind of things are really, dense listens. There's something happening every second. Even though Unquestionable Presence is a short album, it feels like a long album because it wears you out. This doesn't do that.
Because there's songs. There's actually songs to hold on to. Yeah.
There's song structure. Even Atheist, has, song structures. At least on Unquestionable Presence. They maybe later they start to lose the tune a little bit. But yeah, this one, it is, everything's done in service to the song and maintaining, that atmosphere. They're not packing too much in. They're leaving you wanting to replay it, not feeling like, wow, that was awesome, and I don't want to hear it again. They're like, wow, this is awesome. Let's hit the play button again. That's Ancient Death. That's Ego Dissolution. And for now, it is number 2 on my list of 2025 albums.
I really need to spin it more to get it up the list. I'm sure it will crack the 10.
Because it is sort of that kind of quiet, somber feeling album, I think it does take a while to fully, sink in and open up to you. It's not the kind of album you play once and understand or immediately love or, understand.
All right.
Number 2, Marty.
Number 2. I didn't think this would meet anyone else's list, but Halo Effect, March of the Unheard.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yep. This album, basically every single member of this band was in Flames at one point. They're all ex-members of In Flames.
This is called Out of Flames?
Yeah, this is Out of Flames. Vocalist is Mikhail Stena from Dark Tranquillity. So you've got really well enunciated but gruff screaming. You got Jesper Stromblad on guitar, one of the guitars, and a very identifiable riff writer. Basically, this puts me in mind of In Flames. I want to say the Jester Race, but no, it's more along the lines with Colony or Clayman. But the songs on here are really super catchy. The melody lines are endlessly infectious. I mean, Jesper's got a hell of a knack, and it's such a great style for writing earworms. Oh my God, his riff writing is just hard to miss. Yeah, this might be along the lines of a little bit more on the commercial side as far as accessibility and ease of comprehending what's going on. The songs are very, very, very catchy, but they're still heavy. Like I said, it's that era of In Flames that before they got really crappy, before they went to mall metal or whatever the hell they ended up doing. Jester Race will always be my favorite from them, but the album after was really good, and the one after it was maybe starting to get a little poppier, but still good. The riffs were good. And Mikhail's voice is perfect for this. You can understand what he's saying, even though he's kind of doing his higher register death growl type thing. So yeah, this is kind of a flashback to the 90s, as far as I'm concerned, the Gothenburg sound, if you will, and the melodic death style. But it's poised to be, played at all the festivals and the crowd singing along, and it's a very much a European sounding metal album that's got some veterans of the scene doing what they've done best for a very, very, very long time. So yeah, Halo Effect, March of the Unheard. This is their second album, and I'm looking forward to the third. I've got both of them, both of their records. The first one was decent. This one is a definite step up. The songwriting caliber is, they've got it dialed in at this point. So we'll see what happens with number 3. It's good to see Jesper back doing this stuff really well again.
Yeah, it's a fun listen and good in that style. It's just it's always been a style where like I hear a little bit, I'm like, that's cool, I like it, but I don't stick with that style for long stretches of time.
Yep.
But yeah, I wondered if you would have that on your list, because I remember you liked that one.
Oh yeah,
Mike reviewed that one for the channel, and he liked it a lot too.
Yep. All right, number 1 so far for what we've got going this year, Melanie. Will this be your number 1 at the end of the year is what we need to figure out.
I don't know. I think it might. If you've been following me, you know that I'm just absolutely obsessed with this album. This is the most god-awful band name ever, though. Toughness. It's a
Brah, brah.
rough and tough album, brah, brah. That's all I can think about. But it did not ruin this for me. This is a band out of Poland, their second full-length album, that sounds like it came straight out of Finland, with the same exact artist that did the Demolick album as well. This is very Demolick Worship sound.
The
And
cover is even Demolick Worship. It looks like the same artist.
it is the same artist.
Oh,
No,
is it?
it is. Yeah, it is the same artist.
Nice.
Gods of War put this out, and one of my friends sent me the Bandcamp of this and was like, yo, I know that Demolick is like, that's your like one of your favorite death metal albums of all time. Like, you have to listen to this. Like, there's just no way you're not going to love this. And I kind of ignored him for a while there because I just wasn't in the mood.
You weren't feeling tough?
Yet. Wasn't feeling tough, and the band name kind of turned me off. I'm not gonna lie. And then a couple of weeks later, I listened to it, and I'm like, "Son of a bitch! I like a band named Toughness." My God, it does have the croaky vocals, yes, but there's something slightly different about this album that really stood out to me, and it is just the bassist. The bass on this album is so very, very jazz inspired. It makes me wonder if they have that kind of a background. Like, it's all I could hear when I heard this album. And for somebody who, which a lot of people might not know on the stream, like, I'm very, like, jazz is a lot of my background in music. Like, I collect it all. I still listen to it. I'm very heavy into the scene still. And so as soon as I heard that and just like the technicality that they put into their songs, like, I was hooked immediately on this album. Yes, it sounds like Demolick. Yes, it's the same style of vocals, but there is that like just very strong songwriting on this. It does have that Cryptopsy bass sound, I will say that. But just, it's a very good album. I love this album. I've been hooked on it ever since I heard it. As soon as I saw Ben on Iron Fortress stock this in his distro, I snagged it right away because Gods of War is really hard to get their releases in the US, and they are expensive to buy directly from, I can't remember are they from Poland? I think they're from Poland, right? So yeah, just a phenomenal album. This has been my number one ever since I heard it. I don't remember when it came out. It's called Black Respite of Oblivion.
And
Came
yes,
out,
they are Polish.
yeah, it came out in February. So yeah, phenomenal album. Like I said, that bassist on here is my favorite part. I absolutely love the way he plays. And I was looking to see if there's any other bands. He's really not anything that I recognize. But yeah, very nice vinyl pressing. Gods of War puts out really, really quality releases. I think they're a little bit slept on. But Toughness is my number one. No,
You have to say it like that every time too. It's
every time. I've considered trying to get up on my Polish and write them and be like, what made you decide to name the band that? Because I am curious. So maybe you'll see an interview by them on my channel by the end of the year if I can get up to speed on my Polish language. So yeah. Again, I've been talking about this on my channel and just to everybody, so this is not a surprise if you're close with me. This was going to be my number one for right now.
Yeah. All joking aside, that is exactly the kind of band name that would have made me never pick that album up out of the bin.
Oh, sure.
But based on your
sure.
description, I'll probably go check it out. Because
I mean, like I said,
there are not many things that manage to pull off the Demolick sound. So
yeah, I mean they nail it. Like,
that's interesting.
Like it's almost like if the band came back and made a new album, this is what they would probably sound like. It's a more modern sound.
I've always thought it odd that nobody had done a really strong attempt at following. As popular as that album is and that band is, it's always been a little weird that nobody's ever come close to it. But I guess maybe now somebody has. That's cool.
Yeah, it's good.
Another band that's come pretty close is Multifission.
Yeah, Yeah, they're from China.
Yeah.
They released an album last year that I slept on, and then I got it at the beginning of the year, and that's so good.
Another band that did that sound was Cathelist. They were really good too.
Yeah, they're getting
Yeah,
there.
they were. Yeah. But
That was a good
yeah, I
band.
mean, like I said, my friend sent it to me and I was like, toughness. Like, is this guy joking? Like, what is this? And I didn't listen to it. And then I went back into the chat and I was like, listen, Pat, I'm really sorry. I listened to it and yeah, this is incredible. He's like, I fucking told you.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. The real problem, exactly like you're saying, Melanie, is the distribution of that thing. I've failed to get it on CD or LP. The closest I've found was bloody Drakkar Productions had it for $75. That's the closest I've been able to get it. No one else will even ship it to me, so I'm failing at that. CD or
All
LP,
right,
hook me up.
I'll find it. Yeah, I'll see if I can get it and I'll send it to you.
Legend.
All right.
I think Alan's probably betting what flavor of giant spider I might be showing right now. He'd be right.
I think I could call this shot.
You can call this shot. This is Jade, Mysteries of a Flowery Dream. Not a huge surprise that I'm putting this here. Jade is one of the top new bands for me in the last 10 years. They're just an amazing act. Another one I reviewed for Heavy Metallurgy. At their simplest, you just describe Jade as atmospheric death metal, but that's not doing them that's doing them a big disservice. Or saying that they sound a lot like Bolzer. That's also not great. And also with this album, no longer really true. If you go to their first EP, the Smoking Mirrors or something, yes, you can hear the immediate Bolzer. But each release, they get further and further away, and they now have their own sound, and that sound is Jade. They out of the last album was The Pacification of Death, and I was singing to everybody about that in 2022. I know Alan picked it up. I reviewed it here.
I got it too. I picked it up too.
Got it too. Yeah, I mean it's an amazing album. For me, this is topping it, and I think that's saying a lot. It's the more dynamic album of the two. There's more little segues and additional flourishes and sort of ambient soundscapes or little spiritual sounding chanting and things like that put into it. It is atmospheric after all, but this is just huge, very well developed songs, and they all stand out. Just these stand out, absolutely astonishing, like S tier lead guitar. That's what is Jade for me. It is that lead guitar. It brings a grown man to a tear every time I hear the that rhymes. Every time I hear the lead guitar on this thing. A very emotive band. They know how to drain sort of every emotion out of you when you're listening to their stuff, but in an uplifting kind of way. Like it's not like you listen to My Dying Bride and you want to go cut yourself. I mean, you listen to this and it's emotional, but you get to the end and you feel, I guess, kind of like it's been a positive experience. Very complex, very fully formed sounding death metal. And yeah, there's no. It was as soon as I heard this, I knew it was going to be top of the list, and I don't think this one's going to be moving. So yeah, Jade, Mysteries of a Flowery Dream, absolutely top tier, amazing band, number one.
Right on.
Nice pick. Yeah, fantastic new band. One of those bands, like even the split they did last year, even those tracks are just really stellar. And I'm a guy who I can often skip the splits that bands put out. So it's like, yeah, sure, whatever. But Jade just is like, ooh, I think I do need this one. So yeah, I just got to spend some time with that album, and it will probably be on my list by the end of the year.
Yeah, I got the cassette because Iron Fortress put it out, and then I finally bought the vinyl record after listening to it a couple of times. I just need to spend more time with it. Like I really, really enjoy it, but I have not spun it nearly as much as a lot of the stuff I showed tonight. So, but yeah, it is a very good album. Simon, you're the reason why I know that band because of the reviews that you've done.
Yeah.
So very, very good.
Heavy Metallurgy reviews work, people. all 50 of you that watch them. No, more than that.
Yeah.
More than that.
Yeah, they're an amazing band, and props to Pulverized for actually hooking me up with that one. So that I could do a review with a physical copy. I do prefer to do reviews with physical copies, and they were very kind to hook me up with it before release date. I mean, Pulverized are in Singapore, and that's it was 2 days FedEx from Singapore to Australia. It's just up the road basically. So
Nice.
All right, Alan, what's your number one so far this year?
Oh, my number one this year is noticing that Melanie is now being sponsored by Iron Fortress instead of $20.
Yeah.
Definite changing of the guard here tonight. Impressive. My number one also will not surprise anybody that's paid attention to anything I've said for the past 4 or 5 months. And Marty's already talked about this album briefly, but Havakrunu's Tavastland. This is, I believe, their 4th full length. And it is just a glorious, magnificent outing of, pagan Viking black metal. Viking metal is not my favorite genre. I like it on paper, but very often the bands just do the same thing. The songs are very melodic and they sing about the same damn things and they put me to sleep. This album will not let you go to sleep. This is a very fierce and powerful sounding album, very varied. It does everything right. It holds your attention constantly. And like Melanie had said earlier, Havakruну has always been putting out really good stuff. All of their releases that I've heard are very, very strong. It's like they've been one of those kind of, best kept secrets of the underground kind of bands for a few albums. But, here they've moved to Svart Records. So this one's gotten, wider distribution. More people are checking it out. And I think the band really took advantage of this moment to put out their best work. I know a lot of people still prefer like the second album as their favorite. I think this one trumps that. I really do. I think everything comes together here with this lineup, a brilliant set of songs. I've gushed about it a lot. I reviewed this one with Kellen, which was really fun. Kellen's a very big fan of the band. He knows their catalog better than I do, to be very clear. But just the fact that, they're doing this, pagan flavored black metal without it just sounding at all cliche or, trying to be like, oh, they're just copying such and such. No, they're very much doing their own thing. There are lots of elements of traditional heavy metal woven through here. And again, yes, there's that kind of pagan and the Viking things can lean into each other, but this one's just so much more powerful sounding than most of that material is. Most of that material ends up being too quiet, a little too melodic. You just kind of start nodding your head as they row the boat gently across the fjord, off to the sunset to see Odin. There's a raven flying. Oh, what happened at 67 minutes later? And I didn't hear a goddamn note of the album. This will not do that. Not whatsoever. It is proud, fiery, defiant. I really, within I have the first 12 or so spins of this, I knew this was going to be my number one album for the year. I can't imagine anything replacing it by the end of the year. And I've shown a lot of albums tonight I think are extremely good. Some of these other ones would most years be number one. I don't think anything has a chance in hell of dethroning this. It'll be interesting to see how close Jade comes, because that is one that at least should be in the conversation once I play it more. And I don't think this is just going to be the best album of the year. I think this is an album I'm still going to be talking about when we do like best albums of the 2020s 5 years from now. It really does resonate with me that strongly. Sometimes, best album is that year. That's great. Then you realize next year you didn't play it at all. This album, this was like one of the first physical CDs of the year. Like I felt I have to get a physical copy of that. It needs to be on my shelf. And I don't like using that word need, because nobody needs a record in terms of like physical survival or anything. Well, this is one of those rare times. There's just like, what? I really, 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 really want this on my shelf because it is just so good. Havakrunu's developed, in my mind, it's a masterpiece of an album with Tavastland. If you have not checked out the band, this is a great time to do so. Don't go looking for their older albums, though. They were on a smaller label. They're all sold out. They're stupid prices if you look on Discogs. Svart or somebody has an opportunity here to reissue those things and, generate some cash pretty fast from people who will discover the band with this album and want to hear the excellent albums that came before. That is my number one now. And if it is not my number one 6 months from now, then it means that there was a hell of an album that comes out between now and New Year's. If that happens, it'll mean there are two like decade-defining albums that came out this year for me. But I don't think it's going to happen. Okay, that's the end of my list. Marty, what is at the top of your list?
Not Halloween.
Not Halloween.
Doesn't come out until August, so
no.
It will be here at the end of the year, I'm sure. But for now,
Helgen Combat. Man, this album rules. Holy crap. It's these guys, you got the old singer from Necros Christos. But this album is basically a tribute to US thrash metal. It's got the Dee Dee Verney clang in the bass, or Dave Ellison clang. It's very prominent in the mix. This band's a power trio, and I guess they recorded, according to Jurgen, they recorded the album live in a barn, and then overdubbed another guitar and vocals, of course, last. But this album is really freaking good. Some of the songs are kind of linear sounding. There's a lot of riffs. It's very, like I said, at the height of US thrash metal, it's very, kind of riff salady at times, but there are songs here too. Again, that bass is ever present, clanging through. So you got like this higher tuned or more standard tuning of the guitars clipping along in this thrash pace, and then those croaked evil vocals from Necros Christos come in. It's just a really cool mix of styles, and his voice rules. The lyrics are evil. I mean, it's just everything about this record is fun. If you're an old thrash kid like I am, this checks all the boxes for sure. Jurgen reviewed it for the channel. I heard the clips, and shortly thereafter, I broke my no buy clause and bought it. They've got one that came before this too, and I guess it's different. So I don't know. I don't know if this is just a one-off style for them, but yep, very good stuff. Very well written thrash metal in the US vein. Check it out. It's really strange mixed with those evil vocals, but dig it. Have you guys heard it?
I heard it a couple of times.
I've not heard it.
When I played it the first time, it did not click with me. The second time, it was like, oh, okay, now I get it. So yeah, it took two spins to get there.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. We did it.
We have done it. Lots of cool albums there. Not a few overlaps here and there, but yeah, pretty wide variety of different things for folks to go check out if you've missed some things here in the first half of 2025. I was been keeping score. I think the album that got mentioned the most is the Ossuary album. Yeah. I think that was on three. That was three of us had that in our top 10. So
it was my honorable mention. Yeah,
and you had it in honorable mention. So I think it's the
yeah.
only one that all four of us brought up tonight. But yeah, a few others. Oops, I just lost my place. But yeah, a few others also got repeat listens, or sorry, repeat mentions. Including, let's see, Havakrunu came up a couple of times, Ancient Death, Mephitic Corpse, Phrenolith. So, yeah, but still a pretty wide selection of different titles. Nice lists. Cool stuff. Good year for metal. Who needs an Iron Maiden or a Judas Priest album to have a good year?
True that. Yep. Well, awesome. Everybody, please go check out Melanie Loves Death Metal if you are not
She's
familiar.
Giving away all kinds of crazy stuff. This is the time to sign up.
Yep. And
final giveaway tomorrow.
Right on.
Giveaway tomorrow.
Go check out Explosive Action if you're not familiar. Go check out Let's Talk Metal if you're not familiar. Lots of good stuff happening. And thanks everybody. We hit 6,800 subs finally, and we seem to be on an uptick again. So thanks for stopping by, checking us out. If you're a wallflower, join us in the chat. Be sure to subscribe.
Suggest some coming soon titles that I think people should look out for.
Oh, please do.
Right on.
Yeah, there's some exciting stuff coming up that might upset my own list at least. As people have mentioned, the Grave Infestation LPs are shipping now. Yes. I have it for the promo, so I'm looking forward to that. The Malformed their first album is just out again. Haven't listened to it. The EP was fantastic. these death metal kids from Finland. They're like 19 or 20 years old, and it's just awesome. There's the new Sten Garagol. That's band from Slovakia with Malakarpatan members. That's in the post to me. I jumped on that sight unseen. I just know it's going to be fine. So we'll see what that's like.
I didn't know
there
there
is
was
a
one coming out.
countless onslaught of releases from Spartadathus. He's so productive. The new Muvitium from him is out through the veil of medieval prophecies. Again in the post. We'll see what that one's like. Dark Descent's got a new Prescription album coming out, Desolate Divine. Evil black and death metal. They did an album called Conduit in 2020, which was an absolute belter, so I'm expecting that to be good. The one that I have heard in the promos that is guaranteed to upset my list is the new Giendod, black metal out of Norway.
I'm a fan of that band too.
Yeah,
They have another one coming out?
Yep, it's like their 7th or something. It's called Svekkels, Svekkelse. And listen to the promo, it's at least as good as last year's album. So yeah, that band is amazing. So anyway, they're the ones that I am looking forward to coming up, landing in my inbox.
Yeah, that Malformed is very good. Dark Descent shipped my record yesterday, so I should be getting that in a couple of days. It is very, very good. The guitar tone up. Oh god, the guitar tone is so good on that. Just wait, Simon. There's so many things about it. It's so good. For me, it's Occult has a new album coming out on who is it? Everlasting Spew. That's Justin Stubbs' band.
Yep.
Huge fan of Justin Stubbs. I loved the last stuff that they put out, so I'm excited for that. A band that probably nobody knows about, except Simon, you probably might. Perishing. They got signed by Transcending Obscurity, and they announced their new album today. They released a demo last year on Caligari that was so good. So I'm excited about that. And then another Transcending Obscurity / Iron Fortress release is Retching. I'm excited about that. That's coming out at the end of the month, I think. Those are the 3 that I can think of. Grave Infestation I'm also excited about. I'm sure there's more that I can't think of right now. Oh, Innumerable Forms. There we go. Innumerable Forms.
We just got a promo for that too.
Yes, I have that on pre-order, so I'm excited about that too. Yeah,
it'll be good.
What about you, Alan? Any stuff you're looking forward to?
Actually, I'm not too sure. I don't have a lot of things that have been confirmed. There's been a lot of rumors about, certain bands may get an album out before the end of the year, but they may trickle over to early next year. So I don't have a whole lot that I'm actively waiting for on the calendar. One exception to that that I've got bookmarked over on Bandcamp. It's not a metal release at all, but the Chameleons have a new album coming out, Arctic Moon, in September. Brilliant post-punk band, and they don't release material very often. So it's going to be interesting to see what this band does this is the first new material in a while, except maybe a couple of EP tracks or something. So yeah, I've got that. I'm waiting to see again if things like, the new Smolder album make it out this year. There was talk early in the year about new Wasp, new Savatage, but things have been kind of quiet there. New King Diamond has been discussed.
For the last 5 years, they've been talking about that and New Merciful Fate.
Yep. And I know the New Testament's at least, starting to circulate as maybe like some advanced promos and stuff, but I don't have any idea if the release date's going to be this year or maybe first thing next year. So I think there's a lot of things that could come out later this year. But yeah, I don't have a long list of things that have been confirmed at this stage. We'll see. Marty, what about you? Obviously, the big one that we've already discussed in depth.
Yep. I've got a small fortune wrapped up in my Halloween pre-order, so I'm looking forward to that. The new Monogarm, Rodhin's Have, is coming out this year. I'm looking forward to that. New Primal Fear record. I'm probably going to get it. I don't think it's as good as the last one, but I'll probably get it. It's the one with the eagle on the cover. And I have not yet picked up the new Youth Code album, which is called Yours with Malice, which is a husband and wife industrial unit that are pretty killer. So yeah, I'm sure there's other things that I have forgotten, but as of right now, those are the ones that are at the tippy top of my list of looking forward to's.
If folks want a sort of sneak peek discussion about the Halloween, Marty, myself, Mike, and Jimmy have already kind of reviewed that one in depth. You can go check that out on the channel. Spoiler alerts, it's probably going to be at the top of Marty's end of year list.
Probably.
And double spoiler alert, hot take, I don't think it even makes my top 10 at the end of the year. I honestly don't.
Nope, probably
It's not that it's a bad album, but yeah, Marty and I are on pretty different pages on Halloween. So go watch the video and you can see mom and dad fight.
Yep. All right. Okay, that's it. Go check out everybody's channel. Links in the description. Lots of good stuff going on. And we'll see you next week. I don't remember what the album club is. Yeah, it'll come to me. Anyway, cheers, everyone. We'll see you next week.